No, I understand. It was wise of you to bring them here, Count. They'll receive the best treatment in all of Ustalav. Early signs of bleaching. This is the response to stimulus. An Iron Fang veteran? I think I recognize this. What brought him here? Now, for their admission records, may I have their names?
Welcome back, everyone. Now that everyone has recovered their files in last week's adventure, when they made it into the Asylum's records room, we learned a decent amount about our situation, what brought us here in the first place, and we got to see our fancy new character art proper. Of course, we started this adventure knowing nothing. You guys had absolutely no clue what you were getting into, what class you were, what you looked like. In fact, one of the first things we did in the first episode was just have you pick between a selection of 3 pieces of character art that were presented to you right then that you had briefly seen before. You could have picked apart from that the bounty board we use in some of the promo images maybe, but you didn't know who you were going to be. You didn't know how they were grouped. There were like 20 papers on that thing. Now we've finally got our art for everyone. And I left you all with a question last week. What do we call you? What name did you want on the pop-up, on the stream? What am I, as the GM running this game, referring to your character as? And some of you answered relatively quickly, some of you thought about it for a couple of days. But every one of you identified more with the names you had given yourselves. You're still Easy, you're still Trey, you're still MD. And unconscious on the floor is still Cammy. You read these names in these folders, but really, to you, that's kind of all they are. You still don't remember anything. You still don't know anything beyond the circumstances that are detailed in your dossiers. It might as well be a different person with your picture attached to it. In that intro, with our fancy new art as well, there was a new face. There was a new
It's the miso soup all over again.
character present. I knocked over all the villain points I used to kill people with.
Throw them away. They're bad.
Guys,
They're bad
we're
now.
safe today.
I don't have any right now. That's why they were stacked up on the edge of my I have one? I'm so glad I knocked him over. I thought I was empty. I know how to bless. Oh, it was divine intervention is what it was. Trying to remind me I have a coin to do things to you. We have a new face entirely here. Do you want to give us a brief introduction to who you are and, well, what has happened to you these last couple days in Briarstone?
Yeah. I'm Marcus. You might remember me from such shows as Secrets Between the Stars, Success on a 10, and Oops All Rogues.
Oh, Oops All Rogues just a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Today I'm playing Marius Greyfall, an Anvil Dwarf Ranger. I came from a small town and ended up in Ustalav and Briarstone trying to investigate some family issues that arose from the potential use of the Chain of Knights. I came to Briarstone to try to investigate further after I found out it had been donated to the asylum. When I got trapped in the patient uprising and the subsequent quakes and disaster that came along with it, I initially just kind of hid in a vacant room, trying to avoid everything. But then I kind of heard the horrible things that were happening around me as I was hiding. The sounds of people being beaten, choked. It was not pretty. I just kind of hid most of the night. I don't think I slept at all. And in the subsequent days, I just snuck around cautiously, trying to find safety. I wasn't really sure who I could trust, really, how many survivors there were. I thought that there would be potential rescue coming, but it's been days and nothing's happened. I ended up just kind of finding a small, a room that had mostly collapsed, but I know my stonework well and was able to kind of find that it appeared safe. The structure of the collapse kind of just gave me a little cavern in which to hide without really being detected much.
The dwarf finds his hole.
Yeah, my little hidey hole. And as I went around, I had noticed the presence of other people around, but was still not exactly sure who I could trust at all. And still kind of maintained my distance and secrecy as much as I could. And yeah, I basically spent the next few nights just kind of, I prayed to Torog, and I held my clan dagger close to me at night and just tried to figure out what to do, to get out of here or find anybody else I could trust.
You've definitely, if not encountered directly, seen and heard this cult that has all but taken over the asylum, especially the areas that you have been trapped in. You spending most of your time out in the eastern wings in the inpatient ward and this section of administration where you've found this little hole to hide in. These apostles with these yellow painted bed sheets, shawls, gowns, all seemingly murderously violent towards anyone they came across that wasn't one of their number. Fortunately for you, this little hole you found is pretty effective. It's pretty well hidden, and none of them have really caused you any bother. You had, as you said, heard some others. Unbeknownst to the rest of you, in your explorations through the administration area, you have come nearby to the areas where Marius has been hiding, where he has been just trying to survive. And they have not seen each other. It's not like you've been in the same room while he just crouched in a corner and nobody noticed. You're not the most subtle folk. You start a lot of fights. You've had a lot of loud conversations. He has definitely heard your approach. How much he has heard or may know of you, well, who knows? But here, as we left off last week, you three with Cammy had moved forward into the storage where the patient's belongings were kept. You'd found a cultist by the name of Biggs, who did not buy into your charade, unfortunately, as well as his friends across the hall did. And yelling about your seemingly damned state, your guaranteed corruption by the tattered man, he swung into action, picking up a huge broken timber and flying into a rage. You are right on the other side of a door from this. You've heard Biggs and his cronies rooting around the records and the personal effects storage for the better part of a day now. You've heard a lot of their menial conversations, their borderline incomprehensible nonsense that they speak to each other sometimes. You've heard one of them apparently trying to tutor what sounds like an entire silent schoolroom in the adjoining chamber. But now you hear Biggs yelling in a rage. You hear the scraping of the timbers on the floor. You hear the voices of these folk that you heard the other day in the administrator's office discussing something that seemed very interesting to you. You're not sure you can trust them, and they don't even know you exist. But you know that if they're not on the side of the cultists here, enemy of my enemy at least. I'm gonna put that art up for our new friend here real quick. This is, I love how this came together. What was it you told Bryn you basically wanted as art?
I said basically just kind of make it look like me just for simplicity.
That's pretty good, I
Yeah.
think.
I think it's funny. If I had seen it, like this was the one day I'm like, oh, I'll wear contacts because I kind of assumed I would be wearing glasses, and then it's like, okay, now.
When you got here and you have your glasses on, I was like, crap, did he get LASIK too? Like, is it just going around up there? Is everyone just getting LASIK? Because I figured this would be the spitting dwarven image of Marcus in the scene here. But it's pretty on brand, I think.
It's still on point.
Pretty solidly on brand.
Yeah.
You have received a bless from Darkheart 1985 in the chat.
Thank
So
you.
take that with you. I'm pretty sure we've used these in shows that you've seen before.
Yeah.
If you roll something that is one off of succeeding or critically succeeding or whatever, this will pop off and give you that little extra nudge. Comes up a lot more in Pathfinder 2nd Edition because it can bump you up so many degrees of success. From a critical failure to a failure, failure to a success, success to a critical success. So there's 3 faces on the D20 this could pop on for most of the time. You hear Biggs yelling and shouting, and grabbing this timber. The rest of you obviously hear it too, but you see it right in front of you. All of you are going to need to roll me some perception for initiative. Now, this room we left off has got some tall shelves separating a pretty large, like 30-foot around area with an assortment of boxes, packages, bundles of patients' belongings, and just Biggs kind of in the middle of the room, lantern at his feet, wildly swinging here.
I'm going to hero point my initiative.
Go ahead. Cammy, right as this started. Did you roll the same thing? Or?
It got slightly worse.
I
It doesn't
hate-
make a huge
I hate to
difference.
see it. Cammy, right as this started, once again, just kind of face planted on the ground, just dropping into a little pile right next to Brick, unconscious. It's not the first time this has happened with her. But let's go around the table, starting with Easy.
14 plus 7, 21.
21. Trey.
7.
Solid.
It was only going to be a 9. So.
Dang. Brick.
8.
Ooh! You
Doesn't make a huge difference.
one up in this man.
Did you-
Marius.
Did you say he was adding perception?
So it is, yes. D20 plus perception
Then
is
it's
going to be your normal initiative.
9 on the dice plus 8, so 17.
17, right here in the middle. And Biggs! Fine, fellow.
1.
I just looked at his perception modifier.
It's bad. It's really bad.
It's a monster modifier. It's going to be ridiculous for no reason.
What'd you have, Easy?
I have 21. What? No.
What?
But big people are slower. Wow.
He's,
Sometimes there's more to move.
With a very surprising quickness, Biggs grabs this timber off of the ground, and none of you, after what had happened with the previous cultists across the hall, none of you were expecting him to fly into action quite so quickly. And in the blink of an eye, he has picked this timber up, strode forward, and is just swinging a huge arcing wallop towards Trey in the front here. That's going to be a 30 to hit.
Yeah.
That's
That'll crit.
that's probably going to be a little bit critty. There's not a lot of room in here to dodge around just how big this beam is that he's swinging. The end of it actually crashing through the edge of the shelf as he walks by, him swinging it so hard it's knocking this entire shelf askew. Boxes and packages tumbling to the ground. He cries out again, I have to kill you. If I don't kill you, you'll be worse. You'll be demons. You are going to take 22 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm down.
And immediately, this just slaps Trey back into the shelf and onto the ground next to Cammy. Without his protection, you're lost. I'm sorry. And he turns his sights to Brick. Easy.
Thought we were gonna talk this out. Well, so talking's not gonna do it anymore. So
He seems a little upset.
does seem a little upset. I'm just gonna look at Trey and gonna help you out. gonna help you out.
A little bit of
I'm gonna rhyme as much as I can, but it's a little scary. I'm gonna do a suit. Hey, I don't even have to roll for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're rolling.
I just wanted to.
Just-
It's stressful.
I'm scared, man.
It's my emotional
I
support.
roll
role.
dice for comfort.
He's fast and hits hard. Yeah. So 1d10.
What did you check here? What did you roll? Just like
I rolled
curiosity.
a 17.
Oh, that was a pretty good roll. You in fact cast Sooth. Like it's
So 4 plus 4. 8. And then I'm gonna play the tune. Gonna be like, okay, stones and twigs may break bones, pigs. But you will not win. Your life has reached its fin, and afterwards, we're gonna eat figs.
He's stressing out here.
But you have a chance to maybe.
Trey, you black out for a second, and Easy almost immediately throwing the magic at you. Give me that flat check.
20.
Ooh.
Keep it. I want to keep it. Leave it.
Oh, you're green. I took it off of Colby.
You can take it off me.
Would you like to donate your stress
Sure.
relief?
No,
to a
take
good
it off
cause?
him. That's fine.
I mean, you're lucky there's not, it's just the flat checks. There's no critical success. You're not getting 2 back or anything. You wake up in pain, but the magic taking a little bit of hold in your mind. Marius, you hear this huge slam, and then this limerick? The other side of the door? Join the party, friend. You have 3 actions. What do
Okay.
you do?
Well, at this point, like, I'm still not exactly sure who I can trust, but they seem to be. We seem to have interests aligned, and I'm starting to feel like I need to find some kind of allies. So, I'm gonna kind of come out of my room, crawl out, and kind of sneak into the hallway, and I'm not sure I have enough movement to really get into the fight, but what I would like to do is that a door on the left as well?
Yes,
And are
you
the-
would see, you would know from your time in this area that door to the left does lead into that same room. All the rest of you would hear the one door you haven't checked in the hall open, and see what do you look like, Marius?
I mean, I'm a dwarf of kind of average dwarf height, around like 4.
He looks like a
5
dwarf. A
feet,
dwarf. He's a dwarf.
I've got my studded leather armor on. I've got a short bow, and my little clan dagger on my hip.
So this guy does not look, definitely doesn't look like a cultist.
Swathed in yellow.
He doesn't look like a
But-
patient or an orderly or anything like anyone that you've seen in the asylum so far. He just looks like a guy.
The main
Had a
thing was
normal
that
day.
if those were shelves, I wanted to try to come in through the left door and kind of sneak in.
Okay.
Not exactly sure who I can trust. So if I could get in there just to still.
So
kinda
as
be
this
hidden.
door opens, one action. Your second action, you come down the hall to this left door. And you go to throw it open, and it jams. And you look down, and you can see the lock to this door looks like it has been destroyed. A metal rod, the key, something, has been shoved in it and broken to render this door pretty well inaccessible. It was them. They did this last
we
session.
did
You You could attempt to bash it open anyway if you want to give me an athletics check.
That doesn't really help with my attempt at stealth, so I'd probably go back to the other door.
So as you come out and sneak around the hall and try, you Easy, especially in the back, would see him come in and move down this hall and try to go around to the other side of the room, bow in hand. Get stuck and then sort of come back up towards you, and he's going to end right there a little.
In that case, I'm just gonna also just kind of, if whoever noticed me, I'm gonna be like, I'm here to help, please. And
Okay.
I think we're on the same side.
We need help.
Yeah. And if necessary, I'm gonna also hunt.
Yeah, I think I have your three actions there with trying the door and everything, so you have to get that next round.
Okay.
So MD, you may not notice immediately, as there's a lot happening in front of you, but as Easy and Marius address each other, you notice there's now another figure behind you as well, looking quite well armed.
You're gonna see he's 6'8". He's well taller than. He's gonna look down at you, make glaring eye contact with you. Who are you? It doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna try to get past the big ugly dude. Actually, I'm gonna stab him first. I'm gonna stab him, try to get his attention.
Stabbing's a good start.
Rolled a 5 on the die. That's a 15 total.
And you, Thorsta, what are you using these days? Do you have that short sword now?
I have a dagger. I have the enchanted dagger.
You have the short sword and the long sword that you found?
Yeah, I haven't drawn the longsword because I don't know what it can do.
That's fair.
I'm
You
still
have
using
no
the
idea
short
what Red
sword.
Destiny's going to do.
I just have my little
Okay.
dagger from the.
You thrust it out and you stick it in, but this guy, under the gown that he's wearing, under this painted bed sheet, you feel your knife just kind of push into not skin, but a thick orderly's uniform. He's got this drawn around something similar to what Easy is wearing, possibly even several of them wrapped around his body.
And it's like as I'm stabbing, I'm leaning in my force, and I get real close to this. So it's like, everyone ever told you you're really ugly? I'm gonna skirt around to the other side. I'm gonna try to get around him.
Okay. I will let you acrobatics check to tumble through with a pretty heavily reduced DC because you can almost fit by him. There's like he has a hard time filling that whole space. It is going to be a tumble through, but I'm going to give him like a -4.
Well, I rolled another 2. It's a total of an 8.
8 doesn't critically fail. So you try, but he's a big dude. He takes up a lot of space, and as you try to push past him, he's got this huge timber that's already coming around that you could use to pretty easily just kind of keep you back here.
Does that eat up my whole movement?
That eats up that action. It doesn't consume any movement because you didn't move.
Okay.
You didn't critically fail, so you can try again.
Yeah, you can just do. You
I
can
could
just do it
try
again.
I'm just gonna actually shoot straight back over Trey's body to the very up this little way
Okay, just right to the other side of him or further.
further.
Okay,
And see if he'll follow me.
a little bit of distance.
He
there.
seems kind of stupid.
Doesn't. It seemed like he's not coming up with the brightest of tactics. He's kind of coming with a swing big log. Trey.
So I'm out for less than like a full second. Just wake up on the ground. You bastard! And snagging strike from the ground.
Okay, -2.
So that will be a 18.
18 is
19.
19?
Yeah, because I have a +1.
As you swipe out towards him, just trying to slash at his ankles. Again, your blade just kind of dances across the outside of this what must be a stack of orderlies' uniforms. So he's kind of wrapped himself in there. You realize the guy himself might not actually be that big. He's just like almost like Michelin Man puffed up under this bed sheet. He's got to have like 2 or 3 of those thick padded outfits, like shoulder to ankle, covering his body, and your blade just skates across the outside of that as he kind of pulls his leg back and shifts his grip on this big timber, realizing you're still up.
Then I'll stand up, and that's a dude.
That's a dude. 19 does not hit with a bless.
Well, no, that's a human.
The guy?
Yeah.
Biggs?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many light sources are in the room?
Well, I think Easy's got one in his belt, and there's the lantern that's on the ground, just kind of like right in the square where Biggs came from, that was lighting up the room for him. So 2.
Snuff your lantern. and I will throw my sword at the other one.
Okay. Make me a ranged attack roll with the normal improvised weapon penalty, so -2 plus your -5, so -7.
I don't have any ranged weapons, so quick maths.
It'd just
that's
be
gonna
difference
be
between your strength and dex mod.
7. So
So
a
just roll.
6 because of -2 plus 1.
Okay.
Plus 2, so a 7.
Numbers.
Small numbers all adding together, so a +7 to hit a lantern. Is that a 3 or a 1? Okay.
I don't
That's
think
a 10 to hit a lantern.
you throw it. You throw it past Biggs here. It's just a lantern like 10 feet away. I would say your sword's gonna make contact with it, and definitely it's like it's an inanimate object. It's not trying to dodge you. That's gonna catch it just barely enough to tip it over. It's a basic little oil lantern, so as it falls over, immediately the light on it starts to sputter and flicker, and it goes out in almost no time at all as the feed into it just sort of spills. It goes out for a second, but then reignites as the fire from it just sort of spreads into the oil that is leaking out on the floor around it, casting a brighter red light from this burn behind him. With that leaking out, it's going to burn out pretty quickly, depending on how much oil was left in there, but not immediately. And you got one action left. No, you stood up. He brings his big stick back around, and as he does, all of you would see Cammie's body on the ground twitch. Her whole body kind of jerks, like convulsing momentarily, and as it almost pulls up and drops back onto the ground, you see a spray of colors, almost like a splatter of paint, come out from underneath her. Rainbow, multicolored streaks just shooting out a few inches from underneath her body from seemingly no source. Bright, vivid blues, purples, greens. And all of you feel your head start to swim. Biggs is getting ready to bring this back down on Trey again, stops and literally puts a hand up to his head. He's clearly feeling it too. Everybody make me a will save.
Our goal today is to roll higher than a 5.
I have yet to do that.
Same.
Rolled the 9
This
for
is a
one
spooky
attack.
one to come in. It's not that high level of a fight, but he's pretty hardy. So we'll start with Marius.
12 on the dice for 18.
18, exactly okay. MD,
4 on the die for 10.
10 is a failure.
5.
5 on the die or total.
I have a +3.
Fighter. 5 is a regular fail. 5 is a critical failure.
Yeah.
I didn't have a critical failure for this.
Whatever it does lasts a minute.
Is this color spray?
We'll see. No.
You're dead
No,
last.
okay.
What do you got, Easy?
I
17.
explode.
17?
+7, so
Oh, I was like, you blessed? Okay.
No.
So, Easy and MD feel this and kind of push through it and shrug it off. You can see Biggs does too. Marius and Trey, you are both confused. You and Trey?
me, Trey.
You and Trey.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you rolled high and he rolled low. You're right. MD and Trey, you are both confused. As your head starts to swim and everything around you starts to become blurry. You're not even sure who or what you're looking at anymore. You lose track of what side of the room you're on. You lose track of where Biggs is. You don't know who this guy, Marius, is. You have no clue what's happening. Second edition confusion, the interesting status effect. And he is going to regrip his big beam here. He doesn't seem to notice Cammy twitch. He's pretty well focused on Trey as MD scoots by. And he picks the beam up in both hands and just goes to slam this whole timber down on you, attacking Trey once again.
That makes my future actions pretty cut and dry.
22.
That will hit.
It is Possible this does not do 8 damage. It definitely did 8 damage. He brings that down on you, and as you stand up, knocking that lantern over, and that fire starting to spread, crushes Trey back down onto the ground again, to dying the second. And then he turns to Easy at the end of the room, the doorway of the room here. You and Marius here. What are you doing? Stop playing that thing. Shut up. And he's just losing it. This is driving him mad. He's going to intimidate you.
Doesn't like music.
And it's not particularly intimidating, other than there's like you just watched him bonk Trey and he's wielding a huge beam. It's not very like coherent. It's literally going to be a 9 to intimidate you.
What does it go against?
Your will DC.
Oh no.
Which starts it with a +10 on it, so like its super is not going to succeed. Izzy yells at you. You feel, he turns to you for a moment scared, and then you feel like, you know that weird secondhand embarrassment that you get sometimes, where you're just like, this guy is, you don't know if he's trying to be scary. You get the feeling he is. You kind of just almost feel bad for him. But it's not so much you feel bad for him as you just like, you can't even understand why he would, like, how can you be this terrible? It's like disdainful. And you were immediately, as a reaction, going to clap back. Make me an intimidate check.
Oh,
what do you say?
What do I say? Well, I was a little cringe big.
Toad's cringe.
Real cringe.
A little sussy.
What is it?
It's big cringe, big.
Big.
Big's cringe.
And I'm just gonna shake my head.
Everybody takes psych damage.
Okay.
Also,
I'm gonna use a hero point.
also you're pained by Ghost of Zen for your cringe.
Okay, 8 plus. Can I use performance because I have versatile performance?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So 8 plus 8, 16.
16 will succeed. So you see Biggs almost look a little bit confused. He's not intimidated, but you feel real good about yourself right now. You're like, that was roasted, got him. And you can see this, except Trey who's unconscious, on Easy's face, that he really has like almost this kind of smug, like Schadenfreude of pleasure for showing this guy up. You have the celebrity archetype.
Ooh.
And whenever anybody in your presence attempts to make a skill check and does not critically succeed, you can, as a reaction, attempt the same skill check. If you succeed, you get a +1 to almost anything you would do for the next turn. Your perception, your saving throws, skill checks that you make, attack rolls, pretty much anything for a turn.
So happy. I love celebrities.
Celebrities of
I'd
one
like
archetype.
If one of us don't get crit, he can try to succeed, and then he gets a bonus on it.
Exactly.
Even if we fail our skill check, he can do it.
Yeah, you can do it off the party too. If any of them fail their skill checks, it doesn't have to be an enemy. Anybody in your presence does something, and you're like, "That was lame." You
can do it better.
Do it better, and then you hype yourself up. You inspire your own courage,
Just have to show you how to break down a door.
and it really is attack rolls, perception, save, skill checks. Like it's a +1 to pretty much anything that you would roll for your until the end of your next turn,
Okay.
Wow.
Just coming up.
which is now easy.
Okay, so the lantern thing is probably not the move now that there's a fire.
So the fire is not big. It's just like the puddle of oil that's leaking out of the lantern is lit. If you were over there, had a way to like staunch that, if you put that out, it'd just be out. It's just like a little puddle that's leaked out of the lantern.
Okay, well the spray of color that came from Cammy's body did give me an idea. So I'm just gonna look at Biggs, and then you're sitting down. So everyone else is usually good. So I'm gonna be like, all right, red, green, blue. These colors shine through. This blinding light is quite bright, and I hope it gives you the flu. And I'm gonna do color spray at Biggs.
Great idea. Everyone in the way is on the ground, so just don't spray down, and you're good.
So it's a will save?
So we'll say, let me get this. I want you to know there's like 4 people in chat repeatedly spending channel points to give you your bless back, and then Ghost of Azan just saying no and remaining you. It's happened like 4 or 5 times now.
Chat love to. Classic Ghost of
It's like a concerted chat versus Ghost effort to re-bless you. Will save from Biggs. That is gonna be a 22.
Okay.
Probably a regular success.
Yeah, next mine's an 18. So what happens? Dazzled for 1 round.
Okay, that's actually pretty good because that gives him just a mischance on everybody.
Okay.
You see him kind of blink his eyes a bit. It's almost blinding.
Wait, I only have one thing. I'm just gonna move up to Trey.
Marius, as we go to start your turn, you're the first to fail a stress check. I'm sorry. This welcome to the stress system. You see this group in front of you. They seem like pretty large lads, and they seem pretty capable. And you see this cultist take Trey down in basically the blink of an eye, and you immediately just reactively realize that this is. You're committed now, but it was maybe a dangerous situation to get into.
Yeah.
Your first action is going to be to take cover behind the doorway here. That is going to give you that bonus against anybody inside of the room. That's just, you just do that reactively out of fear. Your second 2 actions are your own. You can go as you please.
I'm going to hunt prey on Biggs. And I'm assuming that's just kind of setting a state, and I'm not doing anything else with that, right?
Basically, you are however you want to flavor it is up to you. You are narrowing in like that's my target.
Yeah.
You are putting your focus on him. That
So
enables
I'm
you to use your
taking cover, and then I'm gonna just kind of focus on him, make sure I've got a clear line of sight toward him. And then I will probably do a hunted shot to make 2 strikes against him.
Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good. Give me a d20 roll to him.
That's an 18 plus 7 for 25.
Blessed, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. 25 will definitely hit him. So, first arrow lands, and then roll the second attack roll too, and then we just roll the damage together. Second one comes in at a -3 because you're a flurry ranger.
Yeah, that's a
instead of
5. I
-1.
don't think that's gonna hit.
Fair enough. 1 arrow hits, 1 arrow misses.
And then that's a 5 plus 1 for 6.
Arrow punching more effectively straight through this like pile of orderlies outfits that Biggs has on. The first thing to actually strike in and draw blood. He staggers back a bit and he kind of grits his teeth and looks down at it, and then just fixes his gaze on you at the doorway, bringing us to MD. MD, you are confused.
Very confused.
Confusion is an interesting little status effect because you have no idea what's going on anymore. You have like lost track of friend or foe or what is even happening. Fortunately, there's only one standing figure that's clearly closer to you than everyone else, which is Biggs. So you are going to use your 3 actions, moving forward and swinging at Biggs.
What was the plan? Twin Fame, actually.
Fair enough.
So I have this. Actually, I didn't bring it out. So I have my fists and a knife. So I'm just gonna punch and then stab.
Oh, 1-2 stab. Well, you ever played knifey fisty before?
We played knifesies.
We did play knifesies. That was the thing that happened in Crimson Throne.
Yep. So we start with the punch. That is an 11 on the die. This die is really hard to read. I'm not gonna roll anymore. So with the punch, it is a 19 total. I am blessed.
19 with a blitz, not gonna do it. He's got the fist is no chance against the like 4 orderlies outfits.
And we're gonna stab
It's like punching a pillow fortress.
in the face. I rolled a nat 1.
Ooh.
The die that
There's
can't-
also 4 orderly outfits there.
I'm like, I
have helmets.
I punch, and like my thought process is clear for a moment to the mire of confusion. I see where I want to hit, but I don't put enough. By the time I think of it, there's not enough force behind the punch, and I get frustrated, and I just blindly swing out just right over his head. And like I'm thinking that's where he's gonna be, and just I don't know what's happening, and I just yell at him as loudly as possible.
You are confused. As you flail and slice there, your mind kind of comes back to you. The confusion's going to end. It was 1 round of confusion. Trey, I think this is the first actual death check that we've had
I think so.
in Aeons, because we are running out of things to help you with. So let's cover how this works, because I know you know, but for the benefit of anyone who doesn't, because I don't think it's come up with Strange Aeons yet. When you come around to your turn, when you're down, and I didn't have to move him because he was already in the right place. Like, had he been hypothetically in here, when he got knocked out, he would have gone to the end of initiative. So that the rest of your team has opportunities to do something to intervene. And any of you can attempt to help him with a medicine check, even if you're untrained. Stabilizing someone is an untrained medicine action. It's just like, please stop dying. And anyone can do that. You have to roll a flat check now. This is just D20, and the DC is 10 plus your dying modifier, which normally starts at 1. It was 2 because you got crit, and now it's still 2 because you were wounded 1 from standing back up when you went down the first time. Success. What'd you get?
18.
Solid. Means you go up 1. So instead of dying 2, you're dying 1 as you start to recover. It was just kind of one big clock. It's kind of a tug of war thing. If you get to 0, you stabilize, you stop bleeding out, you're still unconscious. If you get to 4, die. Now, he did get big clocked, and I forgot the first time, so y'all got a hall pass once. I had a stress check from everybody as Trey lays bleeding out on the ground.
I rolled above a 6. Oh,
18.
14.
18, 14, 1. Well, again, good thing that it's just a flat check. Welcome to the 7-point club. Easy.
I'm really good at stress checks.
Good stress
I
checks.
haven't. The only one I failed is the Tattered Man one.
No, you
I
took
passed
the
that
Tattered
one.
Man
I
one.
passed
You
that
took 3
one.
instead of 5.
Yeah, I passed it.
But otherwise, as he lays there isn't much you can do. I don't even think it's a house rule so much as like a headcanon or flavor. It's like while you're dying on the ground, you aren't like you're too injured to contribute. You're too injured to like take any direct actions. If on your turn you can small move, say something, you're like barely hanging in there, brink of consciousness kind of. So whenever anyone is down, again, first time I think we've come to this, you can like make a small movement or say something on your turn. You just can't do anything. It'll be like a regular action. You want to have anything? Just laying there, thinking
Just
through his
laying
life.
there trying to catch his breath after getting it knocked out of himself.
You run up to him, MD, wild-eyed, just kind of swinging. He eats the punch and just barely out of the way of this knife swing. And as he turns to you, Cammy on the ground coughs a little, and this paint splatter kind of grows. All of your heads, even those of you that succeeded, were swimming a little bit from whatever is happening with her. But now the whole room seems to be warping, seems to be changing. You're looking around, and the tile floor, slick with blood from this fight's starting to grow through with grass and mushrooms. The wood of the shelving around you is regrowing out its natural bark, almost becoming like the trunks of trees. The walls of this room are wrapped, intricate, woven panels of vines, some of them glowing strangely in different places. You can still only see the light coming from this little puddle on the ground and from Easy's lamp here. But it's like you're standing somewhere entirely different, some alien, bright forested landscape. I need everyone, I guess except Trey, because he's not here right now, to make me another will save. Biggs included, who super fails.
We're warming up.
The tide is turning.
I don't think confusion hurts the man who everyone is a target.
Yeah, he's gonna swing at someone random. Oh no.
He is flat-footed.
We'll go, he'll slap into your attack from Twin Thing, right?
And he's confused.
Confusion
flat-footed.
gives you flat.
Oh, right. He wasn't. Yeah, oh, that's true. He didn't get confused, though. That would have been good. Easy.
16 plus 7.
You're good. MD.
18 plus 6.
Oh, solid.
12 plus 6, 18.
Exactly lethal again. 2 for 2. Just keep rolling that. You're doing good.
Will do.
All 3 of you somehow are okay with this. But you see Biggs for a moment kind of shy back. Fear in his face as he looks around. What's happening? Is it happening? Have you brought him to my doorstep? No! And he just winds back and takes a huge swing at MD. Get back! Get back! Don't bring him here! This doesn't look anything like what you've seen in your dreams or anything like that. This looks like a fantasy fairy forest of some kind that's just sprouting around you. What?
It's Cammy stream.
It's Cammy's dream.
Yeah.
Cammy has nice dreams. She's gonna totally. She's got a 14.
With still dazzled.
Then I failed the concealment check. So the 4 on the die, so the number doesn't matter. Yeah, I would have had to, even if that was good, I would have had to roll a second one. Yeah, absolutely just wide swing as his beam crashes into the shelf next to you. It's built into the floor. It's a permanent shelf. It's not just standing there. So the whole thing like cracks and now stands at a bit of an angle as more packages just spill over around where this lantern was dropped. He put a lot of effort into this swing. 2 actions worth of effort, you could say, to completely whiff as he just tries to kind of flail it back towards you. Less now in a relentless assault and more almost just trying to like get you away. I rolled a 4 again. He's terrified. The man is clearly.
Where were these from my face?
First time I rolled, he was at 18 too. It's just a preordained mollywop and it happens. Easy.
I have a syringe full of a lesser healing potion.
Oh, you do.
And I'm just gonna
I'm not sure how to use this.
press.
It's just a shot of adrenaline.
Action to pull it out. To action to stick it down in tray and then roll me how much it heals him for. Do you have the healing potion card over there?
No.
I have one.
The lesser.
2d8 plus 5.
It's a very big shot.
I'm gonna get 7.
It's just adrenaline.
It's
It's
just
comically
adrenaline.
large and like,
Okay, 4, 5 is 12. 8, 13.
13 points of health. Back to Trey, whose eyes shoot open on the ground again. Wounded 2. Wounded 2, I always make the point of pointing out, is the danger zone. We haven't talked about this a ton because I think this is the first like real like people getting knocked down multiple times fight that we've had. Every time you get up from the ground, you stack up this condition called wounded. That if you go down again, adds into your dying. That's why you start at dying 2, so the second time you drop. If you were to go down again, you'd start at dying 3, which is 1 away from death. But more importantly than that, if you go down to a critical hit, you go straight to dying 2, which a wounded 2 will kill you outright. If Biggs crits Trey, you will die. You have 1 action left. Easy.
Hey, I'm just gonna see Trey waking up and be like, hey, so you had a bad day. You went down, but don't frown. I'm just gonna inspire courage somehow.
I dig it. He's trying his best. Inspire courage still going. You are, I assume, I didn't ask before, I assume you are including Marius in this? He seems like he's pretty clearly shooting at Biggs past literally all of you.
Yeah, we need all the help.
Fair enough. Which does give you a +1 to your attack rolls. It wouldn't have mattered last turn, but you do also have the Inspire Courage bonus. Your turn, speaking of.
okay. Seeing everything suddenly like grow around the room is very strange, but also kind of beautiful in a way. It's kind of like fairy tale esque with like mushrooms and things growing. I'm going to just continue taking shelter because big man has big stick. And I'm do a hunted shot again.
Now is we got the setup portion. Now you just get to shoot.
That's a nat 20.
Ooh.
Plink.
Nat 20 is very good on a short bow because I believe short bows are deadly too, right? It's not just longbows.
It's deadly D8.
That's what I thought it was. So
Roll your damage.
Roll
and
a
then add
D8. We'll do this by itself because deadly gets a little complicated.
7.
Then 7 plus 1 is your normal damage, plus another one from Inspire Courage.
Okay.
So you hit, it would normally be 9. On a critical hit, you just double that.
Ooh,
So that's
fun.
18. Because it's a deadly D8, after the 18, you add another D8 on top of that.
Short bows are D6.
Deadly D6?
No, the bow's damage is D6.
Oh, D6 plus just the dead. Oh, it's not. I'm thinking fatal. Fatal's the one that changes everything. Well, we'll keep on for now. But in the future, we'll do it right.
Okay, well, it's a 1, so.
Okay, well, there we go.
Balances
Works out.
out.
Yeah, I was thinking fatal, not deadly. So yeah, the short bow itself would be D6s in the future, but 19 points of damage as a super solid shot, very squarely.
And the other one's a 2. That's the second one's not going to hit again.
You got 2 actions left though.
So, and if I do hunted shot again, then I'm going to get.
You can
like,
only hunted
3.
shot once.
Okay.
But you can just shoot normally again.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would be as your third attack -3 twice, so -6. So with the Inspire Courage, you'd be rolling at a +2.
Okay.
We call it fishing.
14 plus 7.
Well, but then the -6 from being a third shot.
-6, so
So yeah, it's
15.
16 total.
yeah, you're gonna need like
You're gonna need
an 18,
Yeah.
19, or a 20 to probably hit with these. But
Fishing for crits.
Don't think I can do that. And then for the last, what does aid do? Can I?
Aid is an ability that lets you spend actions to generally give like a +1 to somebody else's action. It's of limited usefulness in combat for people that aren't humans that are built around it that can do it like as one action and get bigger bonuses for it. But if there is something that like super needs to happen, you can use actions to try to help somebody else do what they're going to do.
Okay. In that case, I think I'll just kind of stick with where I am then. I don't think there's much else I can do at the moment.
The Flurry Ranger machine gun is tried and true.
Yeah.
Just roll a bunch of d20s and hope some of them stick.
You gotta roll 20 eventually.
He started with that, actually.
I know.
Do it again.
Just
Yeah,
do it
I'll just keep trying.
one more time.
Hey, you get one more, throw one more in there.
Yeah.
Shoot one more time.
So I think I'm good for now. I think
Okay.
I'll stop.
Well, you have one action then. Like, there's no reason
Yeah.
not to take it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, unless I can just do aid and give somebody a +1 just for the funsies.
the 8 itself is too.
Or should I just try doing a regular attack?
I would just
Take-
do it regular
Oh, okay.
attacking. You know? Like, a Flurry Ranger gets to get away with it because you
Still
have.
-6.
You rolled
Yeah,
an
it doesn't
18.
go lower than -6.
Oh, okay. So that's an 18 plus 6 minus 6 plus
So it's a
1.
20. And if you're
20?
less, it's a 21.
With a bless is 21, which hits.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll take away that bless.
We found the AC, boys. Oh, it is one action. My mistake. You could aid.
That's fun. That's just a 1 plus 1, so 2.
2.
Hey, it's damage on the board.
You know,
Hit
the
damage.
points on the board. That's what we look for.
It's
Points
more-
on the board.
more damage than I've dealt.
MD, at this point, you see the burning oil near the lantern starting to burn through, with it being just a flat pool. It's burning out really quickly. You are quite stressed, I would say. And you heard what Trey said. You see Easy right over there with his lantern, very soon to be the only source of light in the room. And you are going to lunge for Easy's lantern. You are going to step up over Trey's body and make me just... It's a thievery check, but it's a very overt thievery check to just try to snatch it off of Easy's belt as your first 2 actions.
Okie dokie then. We're gonna snatch it. Yeah. I rolled a 1.
It's overt, all right.
It's very open.
Hey, give me the lantern.
You kind of stumble on Trey's body. You drip a little bit. You definitely do not get a hold of the lantern. This sort of wave of panicked instinct passes. You've got 1 action left. Nishi's kind of looking at you.
I could do my celebrity thing and steal my own man.
You actually
He
can.
did a skill check.
You can like.
You hand me the lantern. You just hand me the lantern and fill it back.
That's the reaction. I just fuck it.
You can make a thievery check with your celebrity dedication.
If you pass, it's just a free +1. Like, there's no reason not to.
Okay, 7 plus thievery is 7, 14. Against
Celebrity
my
theft.
own perception,
Against your own perception DC.
which is 17.
Okay, it fails.
Hold on.
You caught yourself doing it.
A question. He's going against his own DC.
No, we can't automatically succeed.
No, can't he automatically choose to fail against himself?
It's the
So he would let
the
himself
point is
steal.
to show them up. He's not showing them up.
That
He's
is showing up,
he's
but-
trying to steal something off
No,
my
that
belt.
is like, oh no.
All rules is written, you beautiful beast. Try to steal my lantern. you just try to steal his knife. But like, you're trying to steal something back from him. What do you trying to snatch at from him?
It's common sense.
You saw the fire flask? No.
No, I don't have another fire flask.
That's
Oh,
why you failed.
You thought I had a fire flask. We used them all.
he was trying to take
I gave the
my
last one to Cammy.
Okay.
Well then,
I don't get a plus.
No, you don't. Oh wow! I suddenly love this
I'm gonna trip
archetype
him.
way more. Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna just push him.
this is
trip
gonna
him.
shock you. Reflex is his worst save.
Wow.
I rolled a 15 on the die plus 8. It's athletics, right?
Absolutely, athletics versus reflex DC. Absolutely gonna succeed.
Yep, I see exactly where his center of gravity is, and it's kind of giving him a little. Nerd.
He just falls over on the ground. Trey, you wake up. There's Fringe stuck in you just in time to see Biggs crumple on the ground next to you. You're up.
Gonna pull it out, throw it at Biggs, stand up. Give me this damn stick. This athletics to disarm, right?
Okay, yep, sure is. Versus also reflex, I believe.
Ooh.
26.
26 is a regular success. With his frightened condition, still a regular success.
Blessed.
Plus won't get there. So you grab on and start trying to wrench it away from him, and he loses a bit of his grip.
Did I critically succeed?
No, but
On
This-
an 18. Damn. Does
same thing. Yeah,
Inspire
critically
courage?
succeeds pretty high. Does it play skill checks? I
think
don't
it says
think it
hacking
does.
damage.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think it's because inspire competence is the skill check
Competence,
with
yeah.
different
Two.
performance. You got 26. I'm trying to do math.
26? He's
31.
prone and frightened.
19. Now you're 1 off of bless supplying. 1 off of bless supplying. But not quite.
Alrighty. Then I'm just going to walk over him and go pick up my sword.
Okay. Get up.
Yeah,
and
just
walk
go over to it.
And you head over to the other side of him to where your sword is, the lantern, right as the last of that starts to sputter out. You'd be reaching down to get your sword as it comes to his turn, because you got to stand.
Yeah.
And he, too, is going to stumble up to his feet as you get past him, lies on the ground. Triggers an attack of opportunity. It'd be unarmed, but you can still punch him.
That's going to be a 19.
20.
So it's 20.
Blast will make that hit him.
Do I have to use bless?
You want to keep it for not punching him in the face?
Yeah. Because like, if
4
it
plus
hits,
4, that's not bad.
yeah, but if it hits, so be it. I'd rather keep the bless for a thing that does damage or effects.
But if you use the bless check, you get another bless.
Yeah.
It
They're
goes
gonna bless
up.
you
You'll
again.
get
They're
another
gonna bless
bless.
you again, dude.
Just sneeze and someone will bless you.
6 damage.
6. That's, I mean,
Plus 5.
Seven-
7 damage.
7 damage.
that's not bad. That's
You
a
did
pretty
it.
good hit.
That's more damage
I
than
got damage on the board. Now I'm about to get crit and die.
You got damage on the board. That's a 7. You punch him. He stands
back of
up,
the head.
kind of stumbling. he's looking around, still afraid, seeing you walk past him. You don't have a sword in your hand. MD's swinging on him. Easy's doing something weird, and he doesn't know what's going on. He pulls this thing back and just takes a big, huge, wide swing, almost spinning himself around. His timber again clipping off the damaged shelf next to him and just completely slamming to a stop on the one to the other side to his south as he turns all the way around. And he is going to take a swing against everybody in melee range.
That is a level 15 feat,
Yeah.
sir.
He's on 15.
monster roll. Ooh, good news.
It's not a crit.
It's a 16.
Okay, that doesn't hit anyone.
I don't think that hits anyone. It goes right over Cammy's head, and this wild swing with him still having frightened one is gonna. Oh, man, it's gonna make that totally lift. Oh, that's all the actions he has too. That's all he's got.
Up the lantern.
Your lantern is the last source of light in the room.
Okay. Well, one action. Oh no.
As you put that out, the room falls into complete darkness. The color of this weird growth, the grass, the mushrooms, the vines all around everyone, fades into just black and white. As the light leaves, actually, so too largely does the three of you's vision of this weird forest. You can still see little errant eddies of growth around, little grasping bits of vine. The loss of the light changes the landscape around you much back to the room that it is. Easy, of course, doesn't see anything. You're in complete darkness. You are dark vision, just
Human.
kind of a guy.
Human.
There's now 2 humans in the room that can't.
There is another human in this room, though, who also suddenly can't see anything. You have 2 actions left, Easy. Now, the way this works, because you're in the middle of a fight and Biggs is pretty big and loud, unless you guys take efforts to conceal where you are, you still know exactly what square Biggs is in. He still knows what square you guys are all in. He can hear your footsteps, your armor rustling, your weapons. That's all clear. But if you attempt to swing or attack at him or him at you, you have to roll that concealment check, and it is DC 11. It is a 50-50 because you can't see them at all. You just know generally where they are.
I probably should have used telekinetic projectile first and then turned off. That's for later.
Now that's thinking portals. Probably.
So plan C. I'm going to inspire courage. I'm going to be like, all right, we got a new friend. Watch how that bow bends. Gonna fire an arrow right into his bone marrow. And Biggs will meet his end.
Bars. I dig it.
And so that's gonna be that. And I have one more thing. And I'm gonna just try and demoralize him again.
Okay.
That's one action.
Yeah, give me an intimidate check.
Or
You don't even want to see him to do that.
Performance?
Performance, yeah, versatile performance. Give me a performance check. His frightened condition just ended on his turn, so it's perfect.
It didn't.
13 plus 8.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be real spooky. Like we have no way of knowing where we're going. Just hears a creepy tune in the dark.
Okay, so
Gene Wilder's
because
voice.
I hit
just drifting on the
on
wind.
his turn, at the end of his turn, normally he would lose the frightened condition,
The punching did keep him frightened,
but it keeps him frightened because I have remorse slash.
and he is definitely real spooked right now. Marius,
All right.
dark vision.
Dark vision activate.
You clearly see 2 people stumbling in this room that definitely cannot see where they're going, and it's Easy and the cultist.
I'm going to nobody's surprise, continue to shoot the big guy.
Clink, clink, clink.
Flurry Ranger.
Yeah, so we'll do that hunted shot. 10 plus 7, I don't think, or
First one's not going to land.
yeah, that's not gonna hit. 16 plus 7, 21 plus 1, Is that -3?
Yeah, that's what you
Okay.
had the -3 in there, right?
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, so yeah, it would be exactly 21. That'll hit.
Well, wait. 16 plus 7.
If you take the
yeah.
3 out of the 7, I find it
yeah.
easier, so you just do 16 plus 4.
Yeah.
If you
And
just
then
keep
plus
incrementing
1.
the attack modifier down, and then you have less math to do.
And then did you just give me a bonus as well? So
Yeah, you,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, it is a
Still
21.
fine, okay.
You were we accident. This is why math teachers make you show your work, because 21 is correct. You were right in the first place.
All right.
We just skipped a couple steps
got
and ended up in the right place.
All right.
He flat-footed in the dark.
He sure is,
If you
because you're
can't see-
concealed from him.
I need this.
And he's scared.
And that's a 5 plus 1 for 6.
Okay, 6 more points of damage.
Another attack.
-6.
Cool, your arrow hits hard as a
13 minus
Yeah.
6. That's not going to miss. And I guess one more for one more.
Welcome to Flurry Ranger.
18 plus plus 1. I don't think that's going to hit either.
Absolutely is. He's flat-footed and frightened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely gonna hit him.
Hooray. 2 plus 1, so 3.
I'll turn that 1 into a 4. This is it, MD.
This is my
This-
moment.
I want you to roll. No, I rolled a natural 20 on your stress check. This is your moment. You're ready.
All right.
He is frightened and flat-footed.
At this point, I am just watching how he moves, looking for a gap in his armor. Rolled a 9 on the die. Plus, and so 19.
19 hits.
19 hits. And I see it. Right there, and right behind the kneecap. He doesn't have a lot of padding there because it restricts movement. So I rolled 6 damage. Rolled 2 1s. But keeping that momentum up, I have the knife still in there. I'm just going to put even more
He
brute
has
force in there.
2 knees.
And 18 on the die, -4 plus 10, so 24.
24 hits him.
When that the knife's still behind that one kneecap, I just even shove it even further for a total of 11 damage.
How do you end
12
this?
damage.
How do you end this?
The knife goes through, he takes down a knee and just quickly reverse it and just drag it across his neck. And just end it right there. Easy, you can turn the light on now.
And as your blade rips through Biggs' knees, his neck here, there's one last cry. What happened? What's going on? No comfort! And you just cut him.
It's okay.
You all hear him. Easy. I guess nobody can't see it.
Oh, did we
Here's
win?
the timber clatter to the ground and a body fall.
Sounds like we won.
Rest of you can clearly see the fight is over with your dark vision. Leaving the 4 of you with Cammy, this new figure here, standing in the doorway, another arrow already knocked in his short bow, like 19 of them sprayed across the room.
I'm going to first approach Easy, grab his lantern and light it.
You can't see what he's doing to light it.
And then I'm going to pick Cammy up, and I'm going to look at our dwarf friend. Here's who are you?
My name's Marius. I got stuck here a few days ago, but I assume we're in the same kind of predicament. I appreciate you not attacking me.
Oh, I appreciate you not attacking us.
It seemed like you were in trouble. I figured I could try to help.
You hear a
Big
pounding
trouble.
on the southern door to the records room. Hey, the door's stuck. What's happening out there?
Hey, go talk to your friends.
Okay.
I'm gonna drag Biggs' body over and brace it up against that door, just so you can't see it when you first walk into the room with the shelves and everything in the way.
Fair enough. So you're bracing it against the door to the room that you're in.
Yeah,
Okay.
the door we broke.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you also locked them in the records room,
Yes.
right? So that's the door they're pounding on. They're stuck in
Yeah.
the records room.
Yeah, but this is just so that if they come into this room, it's just like, oh, he's already left. He's not here.
Blood trail through room.
There's blood everywhere.
Maybe a ghoul got him.
Hey, Trey, here. I'm going to pull out a regular healing potion for him. It's the last one I have.
It's fine. We don't have time for this here. We can talk about you, whatever all is going on back at base.
Hey, Lizard, are you there? Talking to the chameleon.
No response for a moment before you see, as always, just kind of clinging onto the top of Cammy's head. His back feet just sort of clamped onto her hair. This bright blue chameleon just sort of shimmer into existence again, looking up at you. Its two little eyes just kind of darting around the room.
She's okay, right? You don't know? Fair enough. Thank you.
Chameleon speaking for her.
It's a hard story.
Okay.
It's probably best if she explained it because I really don't
Yeah,
understand.
You, should, but you okay, I guess we need to help her, or
She's fine.
Okay.
It like reaches out with its little claws, like pointing them at Marius.
I mean, I think we trust Marius. No, we shouldn't trust Marius?
No, it's twice for yes.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
Are you making a deception check? Isn't it one for
Yeah, it's one for yes.
I was like, are
Oh.
you making a deception check or are you making a joke? I can't tell.
Making a joke.
The chameleon just sort of looks at you and scooches back across Cammy's head, like closer to MD's chest, like away from him.
We can worry about who he is and where he came from later.
And I'm just gonna start leaving because I am not good
You
and
get-
don't want to be here.
That's fair. He
we
looks pretty clearly hurt.
Sure, we don't want to look through this room real fast.
No.
Wait, but our stuff's in here. Our stuff we came in with.
What stuff?
This is the personal effects room. This probably has our stuff. This is where you.
We have our names.
Oh, I forgot what this room was.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, sorry, the multiple
The
giant
multiple-
smacks distracted me a little bit.
Here.
There's cultists right in that room.
They're friendly.
Yeah, I'll go talk to him. I'll go to the door and be like, I can't open it either on this side. I don't know what's going on. The noise you heard was like a bunch of rap people. We got into a fight. It was crazy. You should stay in there. It's not even safe.
Make me a deception check.
He says it sounds so fake.
It's a natural one.
You said it just like that.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
Ooh, the rattling. Ooh, my
Oh,
bone.
you might want to stay in there, little guy. Ooh, there's a bunch of rat people. Before we carry forward from this, who Marius is, where we're going, how these cultists are gonna respond here, let's take our midstream break. Let's take a pause here. We're gonna stand up, stretch our legs, hopefully to grab some drinks, some snacks, hit the bathroom. It's usually about 10 minutes. It's pretty much exactly 10 minutes. There's a timer on the break screen you can see. We're going to run some ads during that if you're sticking around. That's something we got to do as part of streaming on Twitch. It's not like a goal of mine to run them to make money, but they're going to play automatically if we don't play them. So the more we play them during the break, the less they're going to play during the actual content. So thanks all of you guys for sitting through those. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Don't go too far. Welcome back, everybody. As we left off, we had I will admit, surprisingly difficult encounter with
You crit me and
I mean, I
knocked
did
me
just-
unconscious.
I did just roll good, and you guys rolled bad, which will make any fight way more of a battle than you expect it to be in the planning phase, because that's just a level 4 creature. That's just like a moderate.
I'm a level 2 creature.
Yeah, and +2 is a moderate.
And there's
Yeah.
there's 4 of
But
us.
he hit me.
He did crit you immediately, so he crit like
I got
one of
hit
the
by a
big
level 4
DPS
creature.
instantly. You got a little 8. It was pretty hurty.
Doesn't matter what the party's health pool is. Mine was 0.
I don't care about you guys. I'm unconscious. And we didn't have our lay on hands friend. She's a little unconscious and wasn't super helping. Some weird stuff was happening
It's
there.
almost like that made the fight much worse.
The frightened condition that everyone failed but Biggs. Everyone succeeded but
It was
Biggs.
confusion.
The confusion was bad. It
only
didn't
hurt
actually
me.
do that much. It only affected MD and he just ran forward and
It
swung
would have
anyway.
affected me.
But it didn't, though.
But I was unconscious.
It was actually like a strictly positive thing. That worked out great.
Good job, Cammy.
Anyway, as we left off,
Thanks,
It's all
Cammy.
sunshine and rainbows.
we had survived this fight. Marius was just sort of here. beginning to introduce himself to the party, and Easy had headed down to try to convince the cultists at the southern door that everything was fine. It's not.
Big rats, guys.
They-
No.
They finally seem to be picking up on the fact that, maybe something is amiss here. Something isn't right with what they're being told. And you hear the banging, pounding on the door again. No, I heard Biggs. That sounded like him screaming. What happened? And you hear a much larger pound as what sounds like they attempt to throw themselves into the door to slam it open. The door shakes in its frames as they crash into it, but holds for now.
I'm gonna
It
back
is
up.
not a particularly sturdy door.
I'm backing up, and I'm gonna throw a fire flask where
No.
the door.
I will physically stop him from throwing another fire flask.
Well, I'm gonna convince him that there's a fire.
I want to find a.
No more.
I want to see. I want to find a beam of wood that's long enough to reach across the hallway
Hey,
and brace the door.
we have
Great, I have a
one.
great beam of wood for
yeah,
you to use.
yeah, that's the beam of
There's
wood I
no-
want to use. And just like take it in and wedge it between the two doors.
So, you
Now it's an exceptionally stuck door.
They're both now exceptional.
bring this beam down Biggs's broken timber, and stick it in the hallway between the two doors. You can step over it with no issue, but it's become all but impossible to open either of these doors without destroying them. You hear them pound into the door again with an effort that would have succeeded had you not just made the door exceptionally stuck, but does not now that it is exceptionally stuck. But you see the door buckle a little. A concerted effort will still get them through this. This has bought you time for sure. But again, the door itself is not. It's like an interior wooden door. It's not going to stop an adult human that really mortally wants to get through the door. And you hear the woman call out again. What's that sound? What's going on?
The darkness is coming. You got a light in there?
We have lanterns. We don't have that much oil.
You'll be safe for now. Let it pass.
Maybe a deception check.
That will be an 11. I don't care if they believe me or not. I'm walking
You
past.
know what's funny? That almost succeeds. Will you see so bad? That's really close to at least the blessed territory. But they don't seem convinced. You're walking by. You're heading still back towards the camp.
You know what's going to start creeping towards the door as we walk away?
What?
Darkness.
That's fair. You're not wrong. Not telling lies out here. Trey's clearly heading back towards Lysandro's office. Marius and MD are still back, just coming out of this room down to the hallway. You guys just following him, or
Is one of you carrying your friend?
I have her.
MD's got
Okay.
Yeah. MD's on baby duty, so
and the group of you move back into Lysandro's office. This door is a bit sturdier, finer make, and has a obviously perfectly functional lock on it. It was locked when you got here. You have the key to it. You can click that one, and the five of you, with your unconscious friend, find yourselves once again in the office with Winter still there, still looking through the area, much as you had been prior, seemingly rooting through Lysandro's desk, looking for something. And she looks up and her eyes immediately move to Marius, the only person she doesn't recognize here in the group. You look at her, and she is also dressed like she quite clearly has come from outside. She's got a thick black leather traveling cloak drawn around her shoulders, slim leather armor, and a silver spiraling symbol hanging from a pendant up on her chest. Her hand just kind of lingers near it. Her straight black hair falling down from her head, framing her face, gives her a very severe look as she sort of glares uncertain at you. And immediately apparent in the light of Kevin's lamp is her eyes, one green, one orange. A very distinct heterochromia. She looks at you for a second, but then sees Trey come into the room. Your head probably looking very significantly bashed.
It already looks football shaped. It now looks like a soccer ball, and she's concerned.
Did anyone else get hit?
No.
Nope.
Got a great story for you of narcolepsy, a stranger, and 2 concussions.
She looks at Cammy, that the MD's carrying, who is just completely unconscious.
Narcolepsy.
What?
It's not the first time.
Are you... Trey,
No, I'm not
Who's-
fine.
what happened?
We found a stray. You're the stray.
Yeah.
I don't have much magic left in me for the day, but I'll give you what I can. And
Let's do it back at camp. Let the mundane healing do the rest. Do your daily routine.
you're right. I apologize. I haven't much had to see, I suppose, the front of this. There's, of course, been what fighting we had back at the barricade, but generally, well, people either survived or they didn't. You seem to be a particularly hardy sort. I'm Winter Claxa.
I'm Marius. I was visiting and got stuck here.
Oh.
You certainly don't look as if you've been here long. Well, long before the collapse, that is.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else with you? Were you alone?
No, it was just me. I had just come here a few days ago, and only arrived in town like early last week. So.
And she moves her hand up, putting it fully around this symbol, kind of stroking with her thumb. Fair enough. As I've said before, if they trust you, as do I. There's not much I can make heads or tails of here. There's a lot that she kept in this office, a lot of information, but most of it pertaining to running the asylum itself. You guys took the journal with you, right? You have Lysandra's journal, so obviously she didn't find that. Let us head back to the chapel, rest as we can, and steady ourselves.
Then we can introduce ourselves properly to our new friend.
Indeed. And she will follow the group of you back through the halls to the chapel. You'd be traveling through sections of the asylum that you hadn't been to, or at least hadn't seen since the collapse. This office they led you into, a well-appointed and grandiose, multi-leveled headmaster's office, the chamber of the once administrator of the whole facility. But they take you through a hallway past the offices of other high-ranking doctors, through a grand library, and back into the waiting room where you had first arrived when you'd come to Briarstone searching for whatever it was you were after. From there, though, they would fork off to the left of the entrance, the east wings of the building. A short walkway through a very well-defended hall. A hall that's been cut in half by a barricade slapdashed together from stone, wood, and large chunks of furniture, with a woman standing there defending it, raising an eyebrow at you as you go by. Leading finally around into a fairly large, multi-denominational chapel at the very corner of the asylum itself, where you would get your first look. The rest of the people here. You may have thought that you were the only one left in the asylum who wasn't a part of this cult, who wasn't one of these apostles. But here, there are nearly a dozen figures, with the arrival of the group of you well over. Men, women, several children. The chapel having been converted to a variety of small campfires of wood, mostly chopped from furniture, bits of cloth brought from the linens, a couple of cook pots, and what bedrolls and pillows they could find. All eyes turn to you, Marius, as you enter. And across a wide variety of faces, you see nothing but fear and suspicion.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that there are more people survived, but I can see I'm not exactly the most welcome.
It's
But
any,
I'm
it's any stranger.
I'm afraid I understand. I'm not I'm still not exactly sure what I can trust too. So, I understand. I'll keep my distance.
The
For
first,
what it's. Go ahead.
sorry, the first few days after the collapse, we were beset by a variety of shapeshifters, creatures that could take any form, any face. They were a very lethal thorn in our side. We had no way of telling who we could trust, who was even human, who just simply wanted to slip our defenses. We have these fine folk here to thank for any semblance of safety we've been able to find. They put an end to that threat, I hope.
As far as we're concerned.
Not a cultist. That's what matters.
Anyways, what did you say your name was?
I'm Marius. Marius Greyfall.
Marius. Well, I'm gonna reach him. Free has to have Cammy cradle on the other hand. I'm gonna reach out my.
You're in the chapel, so like you could
I'm
definitely
still just carrying her. Just
like you got
I haven't
piles
stopped.
of sheets and pillows that you could put her. You can make her a little nest.
I'm still concerned with him.
Fair enough.
One track brain. Oh, it's nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
How do you spell it?
Mareas.
Names, they call me MD.
MD.
I'm actually gonna describe my character to him since he hasn't heard our character descriptions. We've heard his.
Go for it.
You see, MD is a 6'8", full-blooded orc. He has according to the art, nice chiseled chin and 2 prominent tusks.
Look, Bryn doesn't draw not hot. Okay,
he
we
doesn't.
covered
I
this.
appreciate it.
Protagonist should be hot.
He has a prominent scar on the left side of his face, starting at his brow, reaching all the way to the back of his head. His sides are shaven, and he has it up in kind of a loose knot at this point. It's been a long day, but even more prominently, he has tattoos that are scarred into his skin. They're not drawn. It's not ink. They're actual scars going all the way down his arms, and even looks like up underneath the armor. And he's just a big lad.
The armor he's wearing, by the way, looking like it is the front grate of like a massive boiler or a furnace or something. And it's just a huge metal plate with a grill across the center of it. It looks like a place where a handle has been broken off of it so it would hang
And
easier.
the jacket he's wearing, the coat he's wearing over, the sleeves have clearly been ripped off.
And 6'4" hobgoblin, very athletic build, like a heavyweight boxer, wearing what is quite literally pipes strapped together to make what equates to a breastplate. Wearing a jacket that sort of fits well. Clearly, we have all just grabbed what we could find.
Yeah.
Or make.
I know my way around a bit of crafting. I appreciate the ingenuity.
I'm just a normal dude. Average build,
Normal dude.
average
Got it.
height.
Show him your picture.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a normal
just
guy.
a normal average.
The regular,
Normal hot
average,
guy.
Christian Bale.
like 9.5 out of 10, dude. Like,
Nice to meet you, fellow hot people.
but as you repeat,
Christian Bale, Steve Buscemi.
don't sell yourself short. You got that Hey Arnold energy,
he's
man.
charismatic.
You got that- it comes out, it comes back in.
Not anymore.
you got flattened a little bit. It's like he's kind of brought it in for you. Cammy, who isn't here to describe herself, you can see it's very easily ported around by MD, who looks like he's done this before. Honestly, she is even for a gnome, relatively small. It's difficult not to describe them as childlike, just because of the way they are. Some gnomes you see, they've got big beards, mustaches, wrinkled faces. Cammy looks young. Her hair is a bright pink that just kind of pops in a bunch of curls around her, and she's got a very dirty, dingy lab coat, much like this one, that is far too big for her, drawn around her body, hanging about down to her knees. Doesn't help with the childlike thing.
Oh, we're gonna make Cammy a place to rest.
We've got some smelling salts if you think it'll wake her.
Don't worry, she needs to sleep. Hey, lizard.
And again, It would just kind of appear as you lay her down, this time just sort of on the top of this pillow and at this nest you've made right next to her head. Just sort of turn his head.
You're on guard duty. I just kind of get MD like a slight expression on his face, a little smirk. Just kind of goes, "Good job. I know I can trust you. The right lizard for the job." And I'm just gonna make my way to Tolman while they do their stuff.
Fair enough. But you head off, leaving the rest of these here, still with Marius and Winter. And she kind of nods and closes her eyes a bit. Well, this is certainly interesting. Given what you had told me about what you've seen in the asylum so far, especially beyond where the Argus wall was, I hadn't expected you to find anybody else who was of right mind. Who knows how many other people there still could be eking out their own existence elsewhere in the asylum. There could even be those around the outskirts, in the grounds of the island itself, or in whatever remains of the upper stories. We have to focus on keeping ourselves safe, hale, and fed, though, before we can extend that to much other. Have you had any success finding any more food stores, any medicine?
I think we're close, though.
We found the personal effects. We found personnel files. What, 2 rooms away from all that stuff that matters?
Just kind of thinking over the map in my own head. It was out and like down a
You
hall.
know, at the end of that hall, that door, the terminus of your hall,
Yeah.
if you would go through that and take a left, you would be going straight to the cafeteria. And the kitchens were on the far side of the cafeteria. They were the northernmost section of the asylum, against the outside wall, so they had places to vent all of the stoves and furnaces.
So not far.
That's close, then. That's close. I dare say, given the situation here, I'd be happier to see medicine than food, but both will be gladly accepted.
Oh, medicine's not far off either.
Good. You've been making impressive progress. When Vespers comes, I'll give my prayers and my magics with my liturgies to the rest of the commune, as always, and hopefully that will be enough to aid the worst of your wounds, or what's left of your wounds. But if you'll allow me, I can treat what I can with what supplies you've brought us.
Mundane bandages work the same.
Stop
Either's
blood
fine.
as well as any other. You, Marius, was it?
Marius, yeah.
Marius. You've been outside. You've been deeper in the asylum perhaps than any of us. What do you know of this situation?
I'm afraid I don't know too much. I kind of spent most of my time here just trying to hide and survive, kind of hidden in my little like shelter that I found. I heard some of the horrible attacks from the cultists, but I have been mostly focused on just staying out of danger. I haven't really done like searching or I'm afraid I don't. I'll lend whatever help I can now, but I can't say I've found much myself.
That's more than understandable. Given what even we've seen here in this relatively safe corner we've carved for ourselves. Well, if you're able, it seems you are. There's plenty to be done around here.
I'll do
I mean,
anything I can to.
Furniture chopped for firewood, meals prepared with what little we have. If you've any mind for triage or medicine, any aid you can render for the wounded would be greatly appreciated as well. Trust me, there's much here needs to be done, and we're grateful to have you.
I'm good with my hands, so I can try to prove my worth. I'll help repair or do what I can with a little bit of medicine I know.
MD, it's mid-afternoon at this point, getting close to evening as Winter would count it, past nuns, some to Vespers. Tolman would still be out in that outlying room with the two children with Brenton and Maeve, who aren't stuck in this over in the corner being tended to. It's not Bates with a broken leg. And you head in and find them, much as they always are. The two children just sitting on the ground. Maeve very excitedly drawing something with just a mishmash of colored chalks Tolman seems to have put together himself on the floor. And Brenton just kind of sitting, watching that shadow lantern next to him as always. And Tolman turns and sees you. Ah, MD! Nice of you to join us. Please, come in.
It's good to see you again, Tolman. I have questions. He's the orderly, the person who worked here the most. I kind of like the most. I like all of them so much, but
I can't guarantee that I'll have answers, but I'll do my best.
If you don't have answers, I can go bother Nisa, but she's busy as always. Do you know? I need to pull out this file. We found records of ourselves.
Oh.
This is about a man named Brick, who very much so matches who I am. This word, I don't understand what this word means. I'm going to point out a tardigrade. And tardigrade amnesia.
Well, unfortunately, I was a simple alchemist. I wasn't a doctor or nurse myself. The medical training and professions aren't really something I ever took too much of an interest in. But I've, of course, heard things of it as I've been around. As far as I can tell, and this is just the mundane man trying to put the dots together, you understand, it's difficulty forming new memories. They have amnesia, as they call it, which is, and he points up further up the file where he's showing him, retrograde amnesia. There it is. That's forgetting past events. That's the loss of memory. That's your classic, fantasy fiction storyteller, lost backstory. But, ooh, villain point. I'll add it to my... I don't have to villain point anything on Biggs because I could have villain pointed the big swing, but I felt bad and I didn't want to kill everybody. Also, I just rolled really good outside that. Thank you, TNT DMD. Is that a villain point and a hero point? I'm not sure what that total is for. Let me know you all with that. I could definitely do a villain point, but that's more than a villain point. But Anterograde was more... I don't really know how better to describe it, I'm afraid. Simply a difficulty retaining things. I believe it's... You could teach them, introduce them to a new doctor, a new nurse, or a new medicine, and they just couldn't find a place in their brain for it. They'd have difficulty with their schedules quite often. A lot of times requiring us to be able to put together some more batches of medicine than what we'd had scheduled because they'd simply forgotten where they'd ended up, or even took them because they'd forgotten they'd had them already.
I can't imagine how terrifying that could be. To not know anything and not remember anyone, even the people you meet.
It's interesting because, well, I've only known you for a scant few days, admittedly, but you seem to have taken an understanding of everything here perfectly fine. You remembered us. You remembered all the names of everyone here in the camp that I could see.
There's also a request. Do you have any extra chalks I can borrow?
Extra chalks? I can put some together, certainly. I've been working with what precious little we have to keep things here to entertain the children. Did you need a specific color?
Anything, really.
Oh, sure.
I want to start a project.
And he'll walk over to a little pile that's sitting next to Maeve. And even standing, this little gnome man is not that much taller than this 11-year-old girl. But still, he kind of squats down and puts
Wouldn't
his
he
hands
be
on his
shorter?
knees. What?
Wouldn't he be shorter? Gnomes cap out at like 3 feet.
Yeah, but she's sitting on the ground drawing.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like, she's sitting, and he's just like barely got height on her here. It was, in fact, 2 villain points is what it was supposed to be. Ooh, I'm fully stacked. Cool. Stuff's gonna happen. Thank you, TNT DMD. He kneels down, just kind of smiles at her, and bit of a quiet conversation as he points down the little pile of chalk she has and points at a couple of colors, and she looks through and is thinking, and then she kind of pouts a bit, and you know how Maeve is. She's very touchy. But after a little bit, he manages to get away from her a little piece of what's kind of just like a light, almost muddy brown chalk. It's chalk that he's put together. So this is not like a perfect brown cylinder. It's not even a consistent color, really. It's kind of just like a lumpy, hand-pressed kind of little rock sausage.
It's fine.
He's doing his best.
He's doing great.
And he brings it over and holds up to you. Sounds like she won't be needing this one anytime soon. And she's agreed graciously to part with it.
And I'm gonna actually look at Maeve. Thank you, Maeve. And then to the boy, Brenton, right? I keep
Brenton.
wanting to go to Brandon.
Brendan.
Names are hard.
These are hard. I have a spreadsheet in front of me, and I have to keep looking at it to keep all the kids straight. Because I keep forgetting what kids. I get Brenton and Bates backwards constantly, and I have a spreadsheet in front of me.
I'm gonna approach Brenton, and hey, Brenton.
Hi.
Can you tell me about your older brother? What was he like?
About Dabis?
Yes.
Dabis was my big brother, and he was great. He was you see him kind of like he's thinking real hard. Brenton is the youngest of the three children that are in the camp. He's only probably about 7, and he doesn't get a ton of interaction outside of here because they want to keep the kids away from everything going on in the chapel as much as they can. He doesn't talk to really any adults but Tolman that much. He sort of stumbles a bit, kind of shy, kind of having difficulty putting words together, but eventually he was really good at everything. He would always show me, he was teaching me, like Maeve is, how to draw and how to do little art projects, and he was really good at them. He was even better than Mom was, but he was good at everything. He was bigger than me. I'm just kind of put his hand up, like a lot bigger than me, and I don't know.
Did he make your lantern?
It was his lantern. He's had it since he was really, really little. It was his nightlight, but then he gave it to me. It was a while ago. It was probably 2 years. I think it's been 2 birthdays since then now. Because he said, as long as I have it, then I have his light, and then nothing in the dark can get me. It helped me sleep. He's really good at stuff like that too.
Sounds like a great big brother.
He's the best big brother.
And you sound like a great little brother.
Have you've been out in the asylum, right? You went out to go look?
I ran into a really dark place, and I'm trying to figure out how to get through it. So I'm thinking I might need to get my own lantern to get me out of the darkness.
Thomas says you can see in the darkness.
Ugh.
And he points over, and Thomas goes, "That's right. Usually the big, strong folks like him from the Belkson Hold have no problem seeing with the darkness. But,
Sometimes though, it's so dark that I can't see in the corners, and that's what's scary. When the darkness I can't see through is there. Can you imagine always being able to see in the dark, and then you get to a place where you can't see anything? It's terrifying."
He just kind of nods. This way Maeve has stopped drawing too, and she's just kind of sat, like, looking at you, just sort of listening to whatever you two are talking about. But Bren just sort of nods.
But you've helped me a lot talking to me about your lantern. So, thank you.
Yep. If you find Debis out there, he can probably he can make one for you.
That sounds good. I'll keep an eye out for him, but you have to wait right here for him, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Promise?
Yeah. Tolman says we have to stay here until Winter says everything's safe to go back.
Good.
But do you know when that's gonna be? It's been a while, and I don't know. I don't know.
Just a little bit longer. I can't tell you exactly.
If you find Debus, you gotta come tell me.
I will.
I want to see him again. I need him to help me because I'm not as good at drawing as Maeve is, and I need him to help.
You'll get there. You just keep drawing and you'll get there. Maeve is really good.
I need him to show me how.
That's fair. And I'm gonna like, well, I gotta go. It's good talking to you though.
Tolman's kind of looking at this point too. He's trying to figure out what you're up to, because this is enough that he's like, there's clearly a purpose here, but he has no idea what. Yeah, it's just kind of confusion in his face.
And I'm gonna go over to Tolman, and it's gonna be a very big slouch, get right up into his ears. Like, I'm gonna need that lantern.
Oh well,
It's gonna be a problem.
might be difficult.
Yes.
And at that, let's go back inside here, where Winter has sat down and does no problem with an expert DC, is going to give you
Just Spend
17.
an hour to like.
34.
Perfect.
It's an hour to double it, right?
Yeah,
34
which is my total health.
points of health back. Spending a pretty significant amount of time bandaging you up and tending to you and making sure you're all right. She takes you over to these little kind of, I'd say, infirmary, but it's just kind of the place where Bates and Erwin are. We don't really have. It's one space really, laying on the ground, leaving Easy and Marius here in the chapel. What are you two going over with him, or what are you two doing?
I specifically would leave the long sword with Easy because we don't know what it is or what it can do.
That's fair.
And there's a necklace with it too, I think.
There was another necklace inside of that compartment as well that would also be left with him. Just
Fair enough.
what do these potentially do, or should we even use them?
Well, taking a look at those, let's start with the sword then. Why don't you give me pick, I guess, occultism. Pick an identification check, good sir.
Okay.
Rolling at 20, still get a critical failure. This sword's kind of dangerous.
It's a 6 plus 4, 10.
Don't know. It's definitely magical.
Yeah, there's something going on.
You can,
Only Cammy was awake.
yeah, 100% tell that, like, it's definitely got a decent aura of evocation around it. It looks like it's got a rune set into it. It's very possibly, I mean, the safe assumption, also just a +1 longsword. The auras are a little bit different, but runes vary. So auras, even if they're identical lesser potency runes from different sources, made in different styles from different parts of Galarian, and this very much looks like it's from a different part of Galarian, they would read with slightly different signatures.
Yeah, not like I don't really know. It's good though.
The necklace.
Pass it around.
For the necklace, do you mean the pearls?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't actually like a necklace so much as just like they were strung together to keep them together. They're not magical at all. It's just a half dozen pearls. Like,
That was
it's
the only other thing in there that
valuables be valuable.
was of any significance.
Right.
So
The only magical thing you would see that you found was that sword, Red Destiny.
pass it around and see if anybody knows what it is.
Marius.
Hey, Tolman.
Marius, are you trained in either Arcana, religion, nature, or occultism? Probably nature.
I am trained in nature, and
Oh,
not
that's actually-
Arcana.
I'm also trained in occultism.
It's only
I
a
got
potent.
nature and religion.
It's only a potency rune if it's from the potency region of Galarian. Otherwise, it's just sparkling magic. This is why we stream. Chad just makes funnier jokes than me, and I take credit for him.
But while I'm getting medicine checked, I can also just check
Right.
out.
While Easy's got it over here with Marius, if you want to try your hand at identifying it,
Sure.
you can. I forgot. I'm supposed to roll this because, like, if you critically fail, you misidentify it.
Okay.
So I'll do this and we'll see what happens. What's your modifier?
+6.
+6. You're not sure either. It's
My turn.
definitely magic.
It's sharp.
The
Plus
two of
6.
you spend like 20 minutes trying to figure this out, and then like you're over getting treated. You two have got it. What do you? We can roll yours in a minute. What are you two doing while he's a winter staying down? You pass his sword back and forth. You both go, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know about the sword. I would probably want to look around and either, I could try to tend wounds if there's anybody that needs help. If there's any, if anybody has anything that looks like it was like broken that I might help craft back together, I might also try to lend a hand with that.
Crafting could definitely be kind of useful here. You could head around and maintaining the sort of roughshod tools and supplies the survivors have would definitely be a good way to spend some time. I'll just throw Derp's identification.
6.
You also
Yeah.
rolled an 8, a 10, and an 8. Like you got solid string of regular failures across the board.
Just pass it around camp.
Just hand it around, see what happens. Hand it to Winter. Winter, what's this? Eventually, handing the thing around long enough, putting your heads together, you guys will be able to tell that it's nothing like fanciful. It's nothing super incredible, or there's nothing outlandish about it. But the rune that's set into it, the magic that's applied to the blade, is a little bit stronger than what you have on the short sword. And it is not one rune, but in fact 2. As Red Destiny is inscribed with both a lesser potency and a lesser striking rune. This is a +1 striking longsword,
Wow.
which is pretty good at second level.
Take that little fear gem off of the short sword, put it on the long sword, and hand the short sword off.
Dude,
You can have a +1 short sword.
I have
when
+1
you come back
short
in. You get a +1
it's in
for
the
having a
mailbox.
sword. It's in your mailbox. You'll pick it
I
up
got
later
a sword.
when you get back to town. But a +1 striking longsword is going to be fairly slappy. It's going to do some
2d8.
2d8 of
plus
slap.
Wow.
Really good.
You
That
helping
is
to
actually really good.
fix some things and tend to people would be introduced slowly to the various members of the survivor camp. Having been told what you were about the doppelgangers, shapeshifters, do you understand why everyone seems to certainly be hesitant
Yeah.
of you? And indeed, even with you assisting, they're slowly starting to warm up, but you definitely have nobody like going out of their way
Yeah.
to come spend time with you or get to know you or anything. There are 3 notable interactions you have. One is a woman sat over by the infirmary section who you can tell clearly doesn't speak. She appears to be fully mute, who will do nothing but glare at you if you come anywhere near her or the child that is over in the infirmary. You can absolutely feel the disdain and mistrust pouring out of this woman. The other 2 are on the other side. You do have 2 that warm up to you a little better. There's a woman with fairly bright, dirty blonde hair who seems to always just have a big, beaming smile on her face, who would introduce herself to you as Baisley. And she doesn't seem really perturbed at all by your appearance and is perfectly happy to come up, introduce herself, and make your acquaintance. And the second is the only other dwarf in the camp,
Well, of course, he's going to warm up pretty
who
quick.
comes up, kind of head cocked, look at you. And I thought we were finally starting to get some kind of a high-class establishment going on in here. We're letting folks like this now?
I guess they're letting
He's got a
everybody in
big
here.
smile on his face. Denman Winoperus.
Marius. Marius Greyfall.
Marius? Marius. What the hell kind of a name is Marius? Did you guys find this one too?
Yep. In a hole.
In a hole.
And all.
You know how hard I work in the kitchen to try and get out from under the literal mountain that is the dwarven stereotype? And you walk out and you find this man in a literal hole? Is that what you're telling me? We need to get you a different story is what it is.
It was a very well sturdy hole.
That doesn't make it better.
the
The
stonework
fact
was
that you
great.
can tell that does not help the situation at all. God damn it, Marty, or whatever your name was. You okay, Colby? Ah, hell. Yeah, I seen you waddling around the camp fixing stuff. You want to come take a look at this crock pot?
Sure, of course.
I think I put a hole in the bottom of the damn thing. Without this, no one's gonna get Denman's famous. I can't remember what I called him. He just, without waiting to see if you answer, wanders off towards the other end of the channel.
I'll follow.
Heading over to where he's got like a wrought iron pot set up over just on a, like, propped up on some little supports over a little campfire he's got going. And he just sort of gestures down to it. And you can see there's not a hole through it. He's put a pretty big ding in the bottom that kind of dents up in. It's like, can you fix that?
I think so. I mean,
It's about the only thing proper we got to cook dinner tonight. Without this, trust me, if you guys think eating the cornmeal slop ain't good now, wait till you're just shoveling fistfuls of it dry. It ain't good.
It's just a ding. It's not a hole.
It looks like it.
Yeah. I think I would try to, like, take, like, if there was like a fist-sized stone or something, try to, like, hammer it back out from the inside, something like that.
Give me a craft check.
If Denman somehow produced ethanol, I wouldn't be surprised.
That was a natural one.
That was the hole.
It was already a hole. The hole is just now like rounder.
It's a little more visible now. There might have been a welcome to the camp, buddy.
I'll
Now get out
I'll
before
go
you-
back to my hole.
I don't know whether to be happy or upset about this. Well, it sucks, don't get me wrong, and you really suck at fixing stuff. But hey, point on the board against the dwarven stereotypes, right? We ain't all master smiths out here, you see?
I promise I'm better at crafting.
Great
I
work.
haven't had any sleep. I'm stressed.
Man,
It's
absolutely. Oh, no, I feel better about this now. That compensates for the whole thing. I don't know what we're going to do about cooking. I guess it's just going to have to be smaller portions of some sort. I can kind of put this thing over on its side and just do a little bit at a time. Hey, winner! And she just kind of looks over from where she's still tending the tray. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. You got any ideas? But you got the emptiest head this side of Ustalam?
Yeah, there's a hole in that one too.
Maybe I like this one.
I'm gonna work on figuring out a way to patch up that hole. Gotta.
But you, assuming that you're not in any great hurry to head back out into the asylum today, would spend the rest of the afternoon here. The
We
evening
gotta
prayers.
immediately rush back out before my
Sword in hand. You got a weapon to try. You got to whoop them over this thing.
Now. Let's
Those
go.
cultists still locked in the room. Oh, this happens. An
Let's
hour.
get 'em.
There was real enthusiasm in that one. This man is legitimately excited about his striking longsword.
very much.
There, a couple of an hour or so would pass, a little more before Vespers. Winter would gather everyone around to give the evening prayers she would. And this is the first you've witnessed of it, Marius. It is immediately clear through interactions with her and, well, the books she near always carries around back here that she is a woman absolutely dedicated to her faith. She is holding not just evening prayers, but seemingly throughout the day. An hour after Vespers, there would be another at Compton, where she would gather everyone around the infirmary, recite these blessings, these liturgies from her psalm book, and then supplement that with a magical prayer, a wave of energy washing off of her, healing away some of the superficial wounds of everybody gathered around.
This isn't where you reveal that you like take damage from positive.
If you're like a dwerger, I guess dwerger actually still get healed. If you're some kind of a ghoul or something and you have negative healing, this is the part where you would start taking damage all of a sudden. So, not a ghoul at least. We can check that one off the board.
So not a ghoul, not a cultist. At this point, doesn't matter really if they're a doppelganger. They helped us fight.
Yeah, I think we kind of threw the towel in on caring about letting the doppelgangers in already, so that's okay. We've
I'm apparently just a clumsy dwarven stereotype.
I dwarf and I dig
finding a hole.
I hide and
But
I love everything about this.
after the prayer at Compline would be the end of day. Tolman would bring the children in for that one. Brenton and Maeve coming back into the chapel for night. You would meet a couple of the main faces around the camp as Danae would come in from her turn guarding the outside of the barrier to be replaced by Boston York, an older man also bearing a short bow across his shoulder, who seems to have his head in a pretty good place. Seems to know he speaks relatively slowly and is careful with his words, but you can tell he's got a pretty good sense of what he's doing. This will be the first evening that Winter would come to the group of you. Not Trey, given the incredibly grievous injuries that you came back with, but Easy and MD specifically. I know that we already ask a lot of you, spending your time journeying through the asylum, headed into, well, anyone knows what could happen. But we've limited folk that can be trusted at the barricade. If either one of you were willing to take a shift this eve from Vigil to Louds, that would be a great relief for myself, or York, or Danae, having to fill in all of them. York hasn't had a good night's rest since the collapse, I don't think.
Give him a rest.
Yeah, I'll go.
I think me and Easy are more than willing to do whatever we need to do. Easy, you take it easy. I can watch whenever you need me to.
MD, if you're willing, then I thank you, and I'll instruct him to fetch you at Vigil. With that, you'll be fine enough to rest here for the evening. Sleep, recuperate, cover as you will. Marius, you have slept a few times out in the asylum, and it has been uncomfortable every time. Not only because you are literally in a hole, but because when you sleep, you dream. And when you dream, you see and you experience strange things. You, fortunately, somehow, seem to be spared the worst of what has happened to everybody else outside this camp of survivors. What this party has experienced. But you do feel discomfort. You don't feel like it's restful. You wake up still tired, bleary-eyed. But here in the chapel will be the first time since everything fell apart, since the patient uprising, since the building collapsed, that you could just sleep. Blank, dreamless sleep through the evening. Awake in the morning, fully refreshed. MD, you would be woken a little early at she calls Vigil. It's somewhere about 2 a.m. is the analog, to relieve York and let him come inside and take his rest. Meaning that while normally the group of you would be ready at Louds during these morning prayers to organize yourselves and go outside, MD's probably going to have to sleep about till terse before he's ready to go. But still, that's only about 9 a.m. You're not waiting that long, and it gives the rest of you plenty of time to make your morning preparations, get what simple meals and water you can, and figure out what plan of attack you may have for the asylum today. What is your goal? What are your intentions right
Cafeteria.
now? Cafeteria.
Also the longsword card.
The longsword card?
Yeah.
I don't have it with me. It's D8.
Well, I know.
Oh.
I'm collecting a bunch of cards from all the things I have.
Yeah, I had all the ones that you might theoretically use for improvised weapons you'd actually find in the very beginning. I don't have longsword. I'm pretty sure it's just D8.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
D8.
think it's got like no traits, does it? Its thing is it's just a one-handed D8 slashing weapon. It's a
Versatile
big
piercing.
versatile piercing, maybe. I know short swords that. I'm not sure if longsword is. We can check. I don't think it's going to be relevant in the near
It's
future
not.
anyway. There's no slashing or piercing specifically.
It's in the
weak
spears
stuff
group.
immediately.
I mean,
I'm gonna
It's a
go.
spear. It's got reach. It's concussive.
hey, you don't have the card. You can't refute that.
Backswing.
Hey, there we go.
Okay,
There's
yeah,
everything.
Before
It's literally just versatile piercing. Yeah.
before the morning, like as part of like what we're doing at night,
Mhm.
could I have worked towards learning spells? Because I have the esoteric thing, and I have these 2 spell scrolls. And I
Okay.
had downtime.
You could. With the scrolls, the problem is it's a bit of an effort to attempt to put them into your mind. This is almost a minor ritual for how you learn magic. And it's different for a lot of people with different styles of casting and traditions. Wizards need not only a deep understanding of the spells, but magical vellum and arcane inks to add these their spell books and the correct ways to be able to draw forth the magic in the morning. You, again, need something that is akin to a ritual to commit it into your mind. It is something that requires incenses. It requires strange magical, basically amplifiers to transmit the magic off of the scroll into you. You can do it. You are going to need to find the supplies.
So yeah, I got paper and stuff from the library, and I was
Yeah, but-
building up a songbook, which I figured
Right.
would have like my.
But you would need a little more than just regular ink and paper
Okay.
to get it going. Very,
Basically, there's a gold cost to do it.
there is a material cost involved in trying to commit a spell to memory, which is very
Pearls?
possibly what
Pearls?
I would absolutely let you try to attempt it with some gemstones for sure. Absolutely, you could use some of the pearls for that.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many. We'll look that up later. I don't think you're going to be
Okay,
like cashing them in for GP anytime soon. So I don't think you're going to be visiting your local Nightmare Mart today.
Them
Where's
up and start
Salsword?
using them like
Salsar Todd just shows up in the waiting room and
Yeah.
with his wagon. None of that's going to happen in the immediate future, so we'll figure out the price later.
Got
You
it.
would absolutely be able to use the pearls to try
No,
and do it.
Salsar Todd's in the cafeteria because
Yeah.
that's where the food is.
What are you trying to learn?
trying to learn Deja Vu, which
Okay.
is level 1 spell we got from the scroll.
Okay. Make me an occultism check. For understanding.
14 plus 4, 18.
That'll do it. Absolutely, you can spend the evening trying to commit to magic, pulling it off of this scroll and into your spell repertoire. So that Deja Vu is now a spell that you can cast. It's one of the ones that you can call forth and ready out. And that pulls the magic from the scroll. So the scroll is
Blank paper.
just paper now.
Yeah.
Yep. Fresh piece of paper from a book.
Is it magic paper? Like the vellum that a wizard would use to write a scroll?
Not anymore.
Okay, so it eats the magic.
Yep, it basically sucks the power out of it. Whatever was in there to hold the magic in the spell has been pulled out now into Easy's mind. It's in his mind palace.
I have a little songbook like, what rhymes with Deja Vu?
Useless blue.
You blue.
Blue.
In my spare time when I'm not on watch, when I'm not sleeping, I have it in my mind that I don't sleep for a long time. It's usually I wake up after 6 hours and I just do little things, just relaxing. I'm gonna what does this stone look like in the chapel? Is it a dark stone or is it like a lighter stone?
The walls of the place are made of a fairly dark stone. It looks to be like a slate or something. It is definitely a different stone than what is outside in most of the chapel, which looks like it's a lighter, something relatively coarse. Could be granite, could even possibly be like a sandstone, but there's not really a lot of that important to Ustalav, and it's probably not a great base for a building anyway. But it is dark and arched up to the top of this massive cathedral-like building. Part of why the chapel was completely intact is because it already had this big vaulted ceiling, and there were no floors above it to collapse onto it. So it is a completely, perfectly intact room.
Is it darker than the chalk that Tolman gave me?
Yes.
Yes. I guess I can start. I'm just gonna find a nice big empty space and start drawing on it with the chalk.
The outsides of the room are punctuated on either side with about 4 alcoves, kind of on the length of the room, which have little shrines in them. Each of them dedicated to different gods. A small shrine to Shelyn, one to Desna, to Iomidai, one to Abadar. Just sort of down the sides. The main pulpit and the back being dedicated to Pharasma.
It's gonna be near the Shelyn shrine. Then it's just gonna be rough chalk outlines of people's faces that have passed that we know of. I'm starting with Combra. It's the first one. It's just kind of a memorial. So, because now that I know I forget people and we have amnesia, I'm afraid of forgetting people again. So it's gonna be the people that have passed that I won't meet again. So Combra, and it's
Biggs.
Biggs. It's gonna be Eliza, Combra. Her name's on the top of my mind, and I can't say it. The administrator. That we met.
Lysandro.
Yeah, Lysandro. Just that, and then if I can remember faces of the people that we found, just It's starting, and I tell anyone who approaches me what I'm doing. Especially, I tell Tolman too, because he needs to know. But like it's a little memorial.
I like it. Challenge Shrine would be near the front, sort of at the side, immediately apparent as you entered the chapel, where this mural is beginning to form now, as you start putting the beginnings of this together. It's, at the moment, shapes and sketches. You've got brown chalk, and just brown chalk, and you're doing what you can with what is functionally a charcoal drawing here. But it gets some interest. It gets some attention. And Tolman, in particular, as he learns what you're doing, seems very interested. But with that, you all sound like you're trying to get to the cafeteria today. You're trying to head, I imagine, basically just right back to where we left off.
Yep.
Through the halls, through the library, back to the administration wing.
Do we bring Kami with us?
No.
Because if she wakes up, she's gonna want to rejoin us,
Yeah, she can just.
and she would have to walk through the entire asylum by herself.
It's
She's
been
strong.
relatively safe.
She's like the strongest person I know.
I'm bringing Kami with us. I'd rather her be with us when she wakes up.
Put her in a bag at least.
Yes, I'm gonna swaddle her. She's okay.
Put her in the sack.
Or a tote bag and carry her on the side.
Yeah.
And get your little baby carrier back again, like
Yeah,
like we had
got
last
the baby
time.
carrier.
Your little carriage. Group of you make your way back down to the hallway. No issue. Notably, the door that leads into the records room, as you come back of the hallway, looks like it has been beaten down from the inside. The door itself,
They got out.
kind of mostly intact, just broken off of its hinges and just sort of laying in the middle of the hallway. The rest of the doors, the rest of the hall is as you left it. And as you enter the hallway from the administrator's office, you see no signs nor hear anything of the cultists.
I want to go back into the personal effects room.
Yeah.
Let's get some personal effects.
And then make note of the records room for later. We need to find records for the other patients in the sanctuary. For Tolman and for Nisa. They don't know all the information on the patients that are there.
As you go to walk past the door leading into the records room, you hear a voice call out to you. Hey! Hey! You turn and you see, sat down on the floor, where she was teaching the group of dolls before, the cultist, one of them. She sat down with her knees up to her chest and her hands just up over her head. Totally just balled up, covering her face. The dolls are all over the room. You can see they have just been cast asunder. And you can hear the other guy is in there too, around the corner. You locked us in here. You left us here.
Did you see what happened to Biggs?
You killed him.
He
It
attacked
had to be
us.
you.
We locked the door for your safety.
And she pulls her hands down and she turns and looks at you, and her eyes are red. Not red like she's been crying, they are red. Iris's pupils gone. Just red pains sunk deep into her face. The color has left her skin pretty much entirely, and her face looks almost gray. And she's still just covering the lower half of her face here. What happened? What did you do?
This is what happens when they don't get their Xandalus praise.
You! As she pulls her hand away, you see her teeth are sharp. Now her face is gaunt and lean, warped and twisted. It barely is even recognizable as the woman from before. Even her voice is rattly and scratching, and her fingers end in almost pointed, jagged claws. She just grits her teeth and looks up at you. You did this to us. Biggs could have got us back. We had to stay out here. We couldn't get through the blood door, and we couldn't go back to the library.
Does she look like the ghouls did, or is this different?
Sure does.
While you still have a mind, I suggest you keep it. Stay sitting there.
And she sits and she grits her teeth and she balls her hands up so tight that her fingernails cause blood to start running out down her wrists. I'm so hungry! And she just looks up at you in the doorway. And you can hear the labored breathing of the other one around the corner. The guy is in there still. And you hear scratching of claws on the walls.
Shing.
I've been reaching for my bow.
I warned you.
Warned me what?
Not to get up. The hunger's gonna drive you mad.
Hey. None of the food we brought, none of these rations, feel like anything. Scraps. These don't even taste like food. It doesn't make a difference.
I'm gonna make a deception roll.
Okay.
You're safe from the tattered man and all the curses out here now. Shouldn't you be thanking us?
Dave! I saw him. He came after me.
And now he can't get you anymore.
He found us. He came in our dreams. We slept here. He hunted us through that city. And he cut us down. And she looks down at her hands, shaking. Just still sat on the ground, knees up to her chest, staring at her hands and the blood running out of her palms.
They said that they had been out here for days, right?
They've been out here for a day.
A day. Well, it sounds like the Xandalus thing didn't help too much. Well, is she, like...
She's still sitting. Not launching herself at you or anything. But she's sitting on the ground. She's shaking. Clearly.
I will stand there and just wave for everyone to go past.
You know,
Yep.
squeeze back. Like, oh, maybe you could join the other ghouls now. And you have a different community.
She just looks at you as you walk by.
All right, see.
Group of you walk to the end of the hall. What are you all doing? I think you're pretty profoundly scouting at this point.
Yep.
The eyes on the ghouls to see if they make any kind of a move. This is exploration mode, Marcus. I probably briefly interacted with this. It's basically what your focus is on as you're moving through the asylum, whether that's looking out for any signs of danger like he's doing, specifically for any hostile creatures or enemies or cultists to give you a bonus to initiative if a fight should start, looking for things that are hidden or trapped or not obvious, thinking to use your knowledge skills to put the pieces together or investigate anything strange that you see. You could be concealing yourself and trying to sneak, so you could do stealth for initiative instead of perception. Tell me vaguely what it is you'd be focusing on, and we'll find you an exploration activity that fits.
Just as we were passing the room, I'm definitely more focused on just listening to the two of them, just making sure there's no kind of sudden moves.
And you can, again, you don't have to be in combat. You can hunt prey her. So, like, if a fight does start, she's already your prey. There's no, like, you don't do this to him or anything. It's just, like, it's a mental thing. There's no reason not to, really.
I was thinking about doing that.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe I'll just do that now. Just
So you got it. You
can.
got it on the board.
But otherwise, as we're passing through, I think I'm still kind of mentally beyond just trying to, be safe and everything. I'm still also sort of, trying to learn more about the book. If we're going past records rooms, kind of looking for things that might clue me in on.
Okay. So you'd be
what's going on.
investigating,
Yeah.
probably, looking for something that might trigger recollection or looking a little deeper at the things you pass. How about you, MD?
Well, right now I'm very clearly in his light, so I'm hanging a little bit ways back, trying to stick to shadows, round sharp corners. I'm sneaking. I have,
Very straight hall, but you're doing your best.
yeah, I'm further back than the rest
Well,
of them.
okay.
Yeah, it's a fairly straight hall, but they don't see me.
Easy.
I'm investigating. I'm looking for my stuff. Personal
you
effect. I'm
heading-
looking for Martin.
Are you heading into the personal effects room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to find the
We
things
want
under
to find some
Skanta.
things.
A group of you.
Stanka.
Uh,
I want to see what I came in here with.
the group of you filter in and start trying to look.
The door.
Dick, I imagine close the door behind you. Start trying to look for your own things as well as anything that could be useful. Most of the boxes and the packages in here have been clearly already investigated. Been quite a few that have been rifled through. Biggs and the cultists were in here looking for valuable and useful items, and they seem to have picked through almost all of it. The organization's pretty easy to figure out. It's just kind of filling up by date of admission. No regards for name or anything, which means that the 5 of you would all be clustered together near the more recent sections of the shelving. It would be against the right wall as you come inside. You would find no box labeled with your names. You would only find a small, long, simple package labeled county patients. But opening that up, you would find nothing but clothing. What's in there? What do you think you would have had as you were brought in? They would be simple, plain clothes. Whatever you would be normally wearing day by day. I know you don't know much about that person, but I'll give you some opportunity to add a little bit of your own flavor to it. What is in this box? Probably a pair of shoes and a single outfit for each of you. Maybe a jacket, maybe a scarf or a hat.
As
What do we
basic as it's gonna get for me. Would have just been. I can't think of the name of the material, but literally generic slacks with what would be worn boots and a button-down, just loose-fitting shirt. Nothing special. Everything's pretty bland.
Almost like a simple laborer's outfit. Really.
Exactly.
It's, absolutely the spirit of beige. Nothing eye-catching, nothing that would stand out at all. And as you give me these, I'll give you a little more. It looks almost less like a full gambeson and more the shirt like it's almost an undergarment to be worn under armor. The shoulders of it in particular would have a layer of padding on the inside meant to bear the weight of metal pauldrons and a cuirass weighing down on you. The front of the shins and the pants as well would have a little bit of extra reinforcement. It's, again, not so much armor unto itself as padding. Very much intended to prevent armor from grating on you.
I think we're gonna find a uniform that he would wear as a tax collector. It's probably not very flashy, dark clothes.
Says tax collector.
Tax collector.
Giant symbol of Abadar.
Yeah, Abadar still no, but
Got a badge.
It's very clean. It's very. The sleeves are actually. He has full sleeves on this. Don't like that. Full sleeves as if he was covering up his arms, and nice polished, clean boots.
It would be probably the most clearly, like, passably fine set of clothes that are in this box. They're well tailored, very well made. Were you to pick up and try them on, it's not that they just, like, you kind of have what you have right now. And as a very large orc man, it is rare to have something fit around your chest and your shoulders properly. But this isn't just like a shirt that you picked up. This was tailored specifically to you. It would fit you very well. It would hang exactly as it should, and it is of a well-made, though simple and relatively plain fabric. It's something that speaks a bit to its quality, but subtly, without being any kind of ostentatious or flashy. Easy.
All right. There's a nice pair of walking boots, well worn.
It's normal people clothes. Guy.
Blue jeans.
Yeah, there's it's all very similar, like not ostentatious, but very well made. Nice scarf, cloak. Like kind of things where it's like not like things you could tell were, well, there's because I don't know, he's just learning a bit about like being around and stuff. There's things he's just picked up, like little badges or things he's picked up from places he's just traveled. So it has its own little personality and style, but not too much.
Fair enough.
I remembered the name, by the way.
What?
Burlap.
Burlap. That's what we're looking for. Super plate. Super. I was like, I don't know if you were going that level of basic, but fair enough. I also couldn't think of it. I was like, the thing that's hanging behind you, but I can't think of it either.
Yeah. The material is nice though.
Yes.
It's like cashmere.
His
versus
Trey's would be the one that is very plain.
This is the stuff that a city guard wore every day of the week.
Yes. Easy. Yours as well would include a couple small pieces of jewelry. Yours would have a couple of simple rings, some bangles, even what appears to be a polished brass and silver necklace with a very bright shine. There's no pendant or gem or icon of any sort attached to it. It is just itself kind of a simple, modestly thick chain that would hang around. And it seems almost a little bit at odds with the rest of the gear. Again, it's well made. None of it is like gem-studded gold, fancy diamond rings down here or anything. But none of it is super cheap either. It does kind of, it's much more expensive. Like the necklace alone is probably worth more just money than possibly the entire rest of what's in here outfit-wise. But that level of investment, that level of coin you would put into something could have very easily been something like, if the goal was to look wealthy or to look flashy, could have been more than it was. It looks very plain for what it is. But other than that, there's nothing else inside the package that seems to be attributed to the group of you. Cammie's clothes are in there as well. I will give her the credit of, if she wants to go through, give us some insight into that.
Roll them up and shove them in the bag and give them to her later.
She can describe them when she is here later. But it just seems like you truly arrived here with the clothes on your back.
I'm going to fold my clothes up and put them in my bag.
Yeah, same. Another outfit never hurt.
No, you never know when Brooke's going to come back. So
Scratch of burlap feels reassuring.
I'll put them on.
Feels good on my skin. You can put yours on?
I'll tuck it like under my thing so it's not visible, but I'll
Fair
change
enough.
the boots.
You are all at the moment wearing things that you have found, and other than Easy, who, as we've covered, is just kind of a guy, it's very much probably not exactly fitting to MD and Trey here. Perfectly represented. You just rip your sleeves off. You don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, the sleeves are too tight on my arms. You rip them off, get rid of them.
But as you're sorting through and Easy's putting some of his stuff on there, you're bundling away Cammie's clothes, you hear a slam and like a hissing yell, a wordless scream at the door you shut behind you. You hear the sound of claws on wood and just screeching agony of the ghouls on the other side. Good news, the sound of this impact as they hit the door seems to jolt Hammy awake in your little papoose.
Clothes getting shoved down. Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah.
Not the laundry again.
And as you all turn nowhere to go but through them to escape this room, that is where we'll end today's session of Strange Aeons.
Welcome
We
to the
have-
Strange Aeons.
Welcome to Strange Aeons,
It gets
buddy.
spooky.
These aeons are very strange.
They're very strange. Some weird stuff happens here. Got some brief introduction to Sandy system for you. We got Trey off of the 7 Stress Club, but
But I joined it.
he joined it. So
Who's
we're
winning the
doing
race now?
pretty
Can I
all right
roll
here.
to just grow a stress?
You terrified of ghouls. The sight of undead.
Phobia of ghouls.
A 2. Give me one. Give me one.
There's no need to rush. I'm sure someone's gonna get there. This is only
Yeah,
worse
I
as
want to
this
get
time
there.
has gone on.
I want to be the one.
We
I want all the things.
We know very little about this new friend we've made here today, but
That has been an issue that Trey is just ignoring.
That
because
does
it's not his problem.
seemed to be like he showed up in a fight and didn't attack you guys and
He's
helped
helping. All I need to
out. He
know.
did a lot of damage to Biggs and is almost certainly the deciding factor of you all not having died in this room yesterday. And that, that builds a pretty good bond of trust, is what that does.
What doesn't build a stronger bond than, group amnesia and this guy?
You don't know each other either, so
Yeah.
screw it, right? What's the worst that could happen?
Explosions.
Oh, yeah, fair, I suppose. Whole rest of the building comes down. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Now, these rocks look pretty sturdy.
At least it wasn't centipede.
Next week, we'll be back Saturday, 3 p.m. Another episode of Strange Aeons, and I believe, God's willing, we may have all 5 members of the party here again.
I'm sick that day.
Stop. You're gonna get your seat back, Kevin. You're gonna get to be in the red chair. We're gonna get a full team, and we're gonna see if we can't get over to the cafeteria. Food sounds good. Food would be cool. We could use food.
I owe everybody a new pot.
More pots would be good. We could use those
You can
too.
get pants.
Ooh, a litany of options
You
before
just
you.
got some new pants, and you can get some new pants.
But that's not the only thing we have here on the UGT show. Now, the Undeniably Good Time has got 3 campaigns running throughout the weekend. Strange Aeons on Saturdays. Sentima, our sponsored stream from Yubi's Adventures on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Episode 3 of a very different brand new system will be happening tomorrow. And then Mondays, a little later at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Malevolence, another spooky explore the really haunted place campaign. We have a theme here. We got a thing. We know what we're into. We know what we're about. I'm in the player seat on that one. Sully's gonna be back over here running that. That's more Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Whole spread of shows across a variety of days and time zones throughout the weekend. So hopefully there's something where everybody can catch at least a little bit of the adventure. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thank you all for being here and supporting the show. Good night.